Welcome in, welcome in. How are we doing?
Hello, everyone. So, welcome to the last arc stream talking about the recent chapter. Also, a chill stream with me today, Fritz the Ditz. We've got Dil, we've got Joshua, and we got Dan. So I'll let start with Dan to introduce himself, and I'll let the others put on their plugs. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan. I'm a part of two One Piece D&D campaigns at the moment. One of them's coming back this week, so that's exciting.
Woo woo.
Um, yeah, I don't have too much else to say
I haven't heard
at the
that voice
moment.
in a while. It's
It
bringing me
has been a while,
it's
Fritz.
bringing me tears to my eyes. Like,
Oh, it's good. It's good. Your session is back in back in order. So it's cool. It's cool. It's good to hear for you guys. So yeah. So then we have Joshua.
Yo,
You know what to do.
yeah, I'm also part of two D&D campaigns, Group 6 and 13.
And he also has a fire server. We'll have someone drop it in the chat. If you want to talk anything else in One Piece, just hop on there as well. Create a Discord server.
The Jutsu Kaisen hype is real.
for real. I'm gonna boost your audio a little bit there, Josh.
All right.
Okay,
You're
and
quieter than normal.
Fritz. Oh, Dill. I'll
I
have
think
Dill
it's
now.
your
This one.
I think it's your input source, Josh. You might need to change it over real quick.
Yeah, might be my mic.
It's all good.
Yeah, I think it's picking up your source mic, not your plug-in mic.
Yo,
But I don't know. I don't know who
Yo.
Cube is trying to introduce. There is no Dill here. There is only Phil. There is only
Sorry.
ever Phil. There will only be Phil.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's my pre-void century memories. I forgot. So yeah, Phil, introduce yourself. Tell us you are in TLA. Everything.
Well, I am a very high member of TLA, but I'm also in two D&D groups as well. Group 2, the Scarlet Pirates, and I'm also a Marine on Sundays. Coming up this Sunday, we're going to be on Who Man's channel. Yeah, Group
And
2
last,
solos.
group two solos. And
Hey,
last but
Group
not
1 just
least,
got back. I don't know, man.
the legend himself, Fritz the Ditz. What's up,
Hello,
man?
hello, everybody. It's Fritz the Ditz, the infamous shipwright of the TLA captains. Just here chilling with all. I have some stuff going on. I'll be in here in and out of the conversation, but I am glad to jump in and drop some brain busters if I can. I don't know everything, but I want to shout out Dak Sake. Great for you being here. First in the chat. Number one status, and then the Lonely Mage member for 5 months. Man, that's crazy. Time flies by, doesn't it?
Shout out Lucas.
What up? What up, Lucas, Daksake? Appreciate you guys for being there.
What's
Honestly,
up?
yep. What's up? What's up?
Also, huge shout out. Also, huge shout out to Dak.
Yep.
TLA
And also,
misses you already. You were just here.
yeah, and Lucas, Lonely Mage Lucas. Appreciate for the membership. But yeah, so before anything else, I want to hear your thoughts, guys. What do you think of the chapter 1095? So what were your wait? Yeah, it is 1095 if I'm not mistaken. I was getting this. Yeah, 1095. So what were your thoughts, guys? Not all at
Um,
once.
seeing that the God Valley flashback is starting, I think this is a good chapter.
it's safe to say that this chapter alone has taken Egghead from like possibly top 5, top 10 to like this. It might be still too early, but the amount of stuff that we're getting led up to and the progression that we're in right now, Egghead might be my favorite post-time skip arc at this moment.
I agree.
Regardless of best arc, looking at Egghead as a whole, this chapter is undeniably one of the most hyped chapters that we've gotten post time skip, regardless of arc.
Oh, so true.
Yeah, well, obviously, most people who are from TLA knows that I have a very bias for this chapter since my whole Garp is Rocks theory all stems from the Dressrosa parallel that I was seeing with the info from God Valley. So I was quite happy to kind of sense that there's a lot of Dressrosa vibes the moment we got into the chapter. So I won't lie, I'm very biased towards this chapter, but yeah. And also, I'll say this for Egghead. Egghead has for me it was already number one. But the fact that we might get, all those legends that we've seen in Marineford, Sabaody, there might be a storyline where a lot of them were all in one place. You get that reveal of Ivankov. Like from everything we knew from God Valley, you found out that there's also a young Ivankov. You're like, ooh, that's interesting. So yeah, I agree. I think Egghead is already on the path of I think top 5 arcs, but now I think it might even reach like top 3. I think it might even outdo Ennis Lobby if it goes the way it is because then his lobby is still, I think, for most people number one. But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
but yeah. So
I'm gonna say
yeah,
I need to read this chapter because you guys already spoiled me so much that if I don't read what's going on, you guys are gonna mess it all up for me. But
Well, then you might as well go ahead and start. We'll
yeah,
do a
I know.
live
Yeah.
reaction. Go ahead and reaction for it.
But the thing is like that's the last chapter had so much going on for it. Like I even like big brained me like a small like 4 minute video about like uh transmutation circles and stuff like that. I was like, man, I've got it all made up. I just got some images to throw in it, but I'm excited.
Fritz, I think once you start reading, you're gonna be encapsulated in this chapter.
yeah, man. It's a very crazy chapter. You know what? I am going to start with one question. Something I thought when I read the chapter. Especially, so you have to give it up to Denden. The girl Ginny that appears with Vankov at the end actually has resemblance of both York and Atlas, it seems. Which I think it could also connect back that York and Atlas could be based off Bonnie on her mom. But now my question is this: do you guys think now, because I always found they were very quirky, that the satellite's personality actually came from people that Vegapunk knew, maybe God Valley or other places? Like he tried to recreate, their life in a sense. Maybe they're dead or something.
Yeah, that's for sure that this genie character is dead in the current story.
Yeah, because it honestly gave me the vibe. The moment I saw Ginny, and then when Dead End saw those, like he said, it's the same face as Atlas and York, and the way talk of a big brother, that I started looking back at Egghead and some of the times of how the satellites, they had very specific quirky personalities. It was not like generic, robotic or even higher intelligence. It seemed like they had their own quirks, the stuff they love. Despising certain stuff. So I'm sorry if he really tried to model them after people. Obviously I'm still saying this. I think Ginny might be Bonnie's mom.
Yeah,
Which would explain why Ivankov once said that Kuma is like a brother, which literally means maybe brother-in-law, since Ginny called Ivankov older brother. Well, it would make sense. But yeah, regardless, yeah. So yeah, so what were your thoughts on the stuff you guys saw? Like, was there something that hit your eye? Like, do you guys love the Celestial Dragon a bit more, or you guys start hate them even more? Because I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, they're a piece of shit. So sorry for the coarse
I,
word, but yeah,
I definitely think that the Celestial Dragons sit exactly where they were before as some of the worst people in fiction.
yeah.
And before I was gonna say that just the whole topic of Ginny, I didn't put that connection, but now literally looking at them side by side, it's clear as day that Atlas and Ginny are basically like the same characters. And that
yeah.
does make me think of whether Vegapunk choosing these choosing these different people to represent his Vegapunks. I wonder if it's more of like their personalities or what he's focusing on more than his own being split into these different Vegapunks.
I'm really starting to think it gives me the vibe of what of devil fruits, the way they describe devil fruits. Instead, it's not based on power or, like science. He said it's desire and dreams. I'm wondering if the way he made them, his desire on how he wanted them, actually created those. You know what I mean? Like similar to a devil fruit. Because it's right, it's true. Like it doesn't feel like it seems like yeah, there's something more to it. Yeah, it's like it's quite interesting because I also said the Seraphims were so connected to their host to the point that S Snake fell in love with Luffy, same way as Hancock, the moment she gazed his eyes. So yeah, so now it makes me wonder if the York thing it might connect. Now I'm wondering if the York reveal being the traitor actually will come back from the days in God Valley. What if there was someone who actually sided, with the side of the Celestial Dragons?
Ooh, that sounds so good. Oh my god, I can't wait for these next chapters, man. Like the fact that I'm so amazed at how obvious it is that Kuma and God Valley are connected, and like how no one was really like thinking that much about how it could be connected. Just the fact that this like we're getting both the Kuma backflash and the God Valley incident into one, and just these it's so amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
also with
yeah,
the
go John.
reveal, the reveal of God Valley itself being just a hunting ground for people, for Celestial Dragons to have some fun.
Yeah, no. God Valley is this crazy thing, and actually, but Joshua knows about that. I'm gonna drop something interesting. You know when they drop the knowledge of 3 years, they do that every 3 years. So I looked, and
Mhm.
I'm a big believer. After we got God Valley and the reveal of Buggy and Shanks' age, they were born a year before. Then you have Ace and Sabo born the same year as the O'Hara incident. And then you feel like, and then I said, that's interesting. Whenever those big moments, some of them seem to be born around that same era. So around the time that if they did, so I did 38 plus 3 years every time. So it coincides with, first of all, the only one that doesn't, all of them coincide almost with a birth. So the people who are born either on the year or the year ahead or the year before are Dragon, Akainu, Roger, Whitebeard, Ivankov, Kuma, Moria, Vegapunk, and then there are two age that don't fit people of importance, which I think connects back to some characters like Garling that we don't know their age yet. There's, I think, 63 and another age that I couldn't fit yet. And what's also interesting is it also coincides around the same time that Garp, Suru, and Sengoku joined the Marines, which I don't think is a coincidence. Yeah, I wanted to drop that when I did that research, that little thought, like it's quite interesting. I'm wondering what more events, created all those wills, because I think that's how wills are inherited.
I think you're spot on with those, honestly.
Yes.
That's like all the numbers being connected and how these dates are meaningful for every single character is
Yeah.
it's been like Oda has definitely thought about that every single time. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And I tell people, it's not even that. It's just the fact that it coincides with Dragon and Akainu, Roger, and Vegapunk. Just those four in the past, in the current storyline, they're having so much impact. Currently, Akainu and Dragon's war for, the world. You have Vegapunk, who's all about intelligence, and you have Roger, who literally inspired. Like, it's crazy when you think about it. So, yeah, like, there is something more to this thing. But, yeah, I'm very, and also I'm very curious, and I wanted your opinion. Don't you find it odd on the way they're portraying Garling that it's weird that he doesn't seem to be too affected by Shanks, being a Yonko on the D clan side? This really shocked me, the way he's very active at doing things, showing that he doesn't respect stuff. You know what I mean? And especially what he did a few chapters ago to that other Celestial Dragon. So that was my question actually. What do you guys think about Garling? And if he knows about Shanks, maybe he doesn't know that Shanks. It would be weird, but because I'm wondering if maybe he doesn't even know that Shanks is a Yonko. Like he doesn't get that information.
The Lonely Mage with a $10 dono. God Valley
Ooh,
is inspired by Monument Valley. It's in the West Blue. The buildings look like Wild West buildings, and the Navajo name for it is Valley of Rocks. It also explains Ivan's yeehaw. Damn.
Oh my
that's
god.
crazy. That's
Damn.
crazy.
Also, I've been reading this
That's
chapter and I'm like mind blown already, but
It's so good.
damn.
Yeah, that's an awesome fact actually. I didn't even realize like if you look on the page where Garling's shown, like on the left it looks like a, standard Wild West saloon era. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And like I've been thinking a lot about Garling, and he's a celestial dragon. So apparently he's a celestial dragon who killed the king of God Valley, but I'm just confused as to why he doesn't have a helmet. I don't know if that's something I should know or.
Not only is he a celestial, he is a god knight. But even whenever we see the fucking celestials that were owning the slaves back up at the top with Kuma's backstory, they weren't wearing the bubbles either.
Ah,
Do you know how in the time of the Crusades, how the kings, the royal family, they would choose which family member would become a ruler and which one would become a knight? Basically, they would call the decision of God. It would be depending on their. So what's up, Smokey? It would be depending on their at a young age. Those who are physically active, who seem to be possess everything, would give him more of a role as a knight, which later on they would lead like the army. While those who are more weaker and seems to be more about intelligence, they would be instead taught to learn how to rule. You know what I mean? And that's how they were. That's how later on in the 1500s, France had this massive royal empire because a lot of some of the old knights used to be connected back in the old days. So I'm wondering if that could be the decision because we've seen Celestial Dragons being very weak, most of them. But then you have Doflamingo, Shanks, Garland, and we've seen with Doflamingo and Shanks, they seem to possess all hockey types. So we've seen some of the stuff with the Gorsey. So I'm wondering if there's this thing of makes me think of Game of Thrones when they say about the Targaryens. God, when the Targaryen is born, God flips a coin and sees if he's going to be evil or good. You know what I mean? What if it's the same thing, but if you're going to be like a conqueror, a fighter, or you're going to be a weakling? And it could explain why those celestial dragons have to wear those suits. Their body are naturally weak, you know what I mean? And for some reason, it's affecting. They look like more frail for that reasons. That's what's my thought with the difference between the Holy Knights and the Celestial Dragons, because there is a difference.
yeah. I could see that for sure.
Yeah, but the thing is with Gardening that really bothered me is he really made that statement about you're more than trash if you don't side with them and etc. Right? And he was so shocked that Celestial Dragon. Why would someone like that let his son, who looks a lot like him, you know what I mean? Like when he get that handled, I think that would soil his, because he talked about his it's a soil to our reputation as a whole. You know what I mean? He made it very like it's a holy thing to smite you because you sided with trash. Yet his son is literally the biggest insult to him if you think about it.
I
That's
don't
Darling
think
that's
that.
dressed in the drip though. Like he could say what he wants.
Oh, he's hella drippy. He's hella drippy for sure. But what are you saying? So you're saying like he's not human?
Well, what do you mean?
Are you inferring that the Garlings or some of these celestial dragons are not human?
No, I'm thinking that maybe when they're born, the first thing I said is I think when those who possess physical attributes, like it seems that they're stronger than most.
Oh yeah, there's
They're
levels
given
to this.
they go to the path of holy knights, and then the other ones that go celestial dragons. And I think those who become celestial dragon is at the start. It could be I'm not gonna say incest, but you know what I mean. It could be
Right.
crossbreeding between them. Like it could be that some of them are
It's
just
all in the
born
family.
with. Yeah, it's like some of them could be born just weak, and that's why they need those suits.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because I've been thinking about the whole garlic thing, and it's also something that also bothers me is the whole why would they need to change Roger's name to Gold? They think they tried to do it with Luffy, but it was not possible. And I was wondering what if the Gorosei are actually limited? Because the two Celestial Dragons that we've seen, they said the moment they rejoined humanity, they saw the true horrors. And I'm wondering if they're not actually getting true information. Like they might never get newspapers. So when they saw that newspaper Roger called Gold Roger,
Propaganda.
yeah, it could be the Cecil Dragon saying for the first time Gold Roger's name. And they never saw him as Goldie Roger. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Roger was going around telling people, my name is Goldie Roger. He said, my name is Roger. Like Luffy, I'm Luffy.
Yeah.
My name's Luffy. Like they don't go around and they're the enemies of the gods, the D clan. So it could be a thing that they're limited.
Especially him knowing that they're hunting that initial, he wouldn't go around just saying that shit. Like Monkey D doesn't, like you said, Luffy doesn't go around, I'm Monkey D Luffy. Not to everybody, at least.
Yeah. So I'm wondering
What do you mean?
like...
He walks up, says, "I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be the king of the pirates."
Yeah, no, he does that in those moments. But when you meet somebody who says, I'm Luffy.
To
to his
everyone he
Nakama, but
meets.
to anybody else, he just I'm Luffy. He doesn't really emphasize the D, just like Law. Law doesn't emphasize that as well. You know,
Yeah, Law actually tries to hide his D.
Yeah.
right? He knows he's more smarter about it. So
Well, he
maybe
also
Luffy.
hides the name Water for some reason.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And also, what's interesting, and it made me think also a lot about that, is the way Emu reacted when found out that the Nefertari were D's.
Yeah,
She lost it. Her face got like Oda drew like the person was like having a mental breakdown. Like that person was going crazy, like a Karen, you know? Like
speaking
it
of
was
which, I
an
want to ask you
overdrive.
guys: do you think
Yeah.
Shirahoshi is a D? She is also in that panel where Emu's ripping up the fucking water. I forget which one she rips up, but she's also part of that panel.
Yeah.
So you guys think that she could be a D as well?
Honestly, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Like
If
I already
the
I already believe
if
that
the
the
original
Kozuki might be it.
Poseidon
Yeah, I think the
if the
Kozuki
original
for sure.
Poseidon was connected to the original clan that made the D clan a thing, then yeah, I would see that being, hey, the royal family of fishmen are all D's.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
also yeah, also for the Sun Pirates, you know, like the sun, they're very implying the connection to the sun. And don't forget about
yeah.
something, and that people don't realize. The power of Poseidon was a god that at one point came to Earth as well, because he was a god of land. He had many kids. Among them, he had two grandkids. Europa, basically the female word for the continent of Europe, which is based for the world government, inspiration, and the Phoenix, who he treated like his own son, which is interesting because Poseidon has the power. They said he was a ruler of land, the strongest being on land, and he would able to create tsunamis and earthquakes, which makes me think a lot of Whitebeard and his in how he had a role against the world government. You know, so I'm starting to think like they're trying to make the narrative of Poseidon, Shiroshi has always been, you know, on the opposite side, like a D clan. Like there's always been on the side of the D clan. I mean, because if you think of Whitebeard, Whitebeard is actually Poseidon. He has all the powers and he has the role of Poseidon. Just he wasn't called Poseidon.
Yeah.
So is that you trying to say that Blackbeard is also Poseidon?
Well, you know what? Actually, Blackbeard could be a mix between Hades. Think about it. He could be a mix between Hades and Poseidon, because Hades
Yeah.
and
Well, he
Poseidon
has.
they shared. I think they shared the deep sea together, because there was access to the underworld. Some passage.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the
That is
thing too, is because he'll have two versions of methods to affect the tides.
Yeah.
The moon affects the
that,
tides, and earthquakes and earth line, like actual fault lines moving, create earthquakes too.
and it ties into
Yeah.
that whole. It could be like it ties into that. Oh, he's a kraken shit.
Yeah.
That'd be dope as shit too. Like an evil kraken.
Yeah.
I know
And
we have all
also,
seen those. Too.
and you think about the parallels. Like we all know that all 12 Olympic gods killed Cronus and cut him into pieces. But the
Yeah.
ones who were the spoils, the one who won most of it is Hades, the underworld, Poseidon,
Zeus.
and Zeus, which makes me think of what? Now we have Saturn, who's literally the Greek name for Saturn is the Roman name for Cronus, you know, and it makes me think of the three ancient weapons. Uranus, which is interesting because Uranus is Zeus' sponsor,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so it's
Those
like
for those
there's some
prolific in the Latin language, he means Uranus.
but to go back into the chapter, and and there's something I was speaking to Lucas. Well, then they didn't respond to that, but I know he liked it because I'm still convinced on the way. Basically, I dropped two theories: one about the location of God Valley, and then Garpus Rocks,
Ooh.
and and on the one of Marine that Marine pre-Marineford could be God Valley is basically I was explaining that if you listen to what Sengoku says, there are a lot of double meanings because in Nolan's flashback he says that the rocks try to go on top of the world, and Nolan's flashback they said the top of the world is Pangaea Castle. That is the other name for Pangaea's castle, like Hashinosu is Pirate Paradise.
Yeah.
And then the way they describe it, you know, and then you think about Marineford, how Sengoku said to Whitebeard, "How were you able to come here undetected?" You know, and 100 years ago, when there was Mazokarma with the giants, Oda never wrote the name God Valley either on the anime or in the manga panel. They just Marineford. They just showed the island, and it had those high mountains, But the more I think about it, and about the recent reveal, I still want to believe that they moved Marineford there, but one island that fits better is Thriller Bark.
Egghead. I think it's
No,
Egghead.
think about it, Thriller
The
Bark.
way.
Remember what Brooke
Well,
said?
listen. Well, check this out.
Yeah,
Look, reading this last panel, like when we've all read this last chapter, right? This is what we're talking
yeah.
about. When they showed that panel of God Valley, and remember, like they had two splits, right? It
Mhm.
made me think of Egghead. When you see all the ships at the bottom, we've seen that panel in these last chapters with Egghead being surrounded by ships. And what got to me was number one, he said that God Valley was called that because it was rich in resources, right? Sounds a lot very similar to Egghead. We know Egghead has a lot of resources, natural. What if it had natural metals? What if, like, a lot of the resources they're talking about were like leftover technology from the ancient kingdom, right? That's why it was rich in resources. There's something about this last panel when they showed God Valley without that big giant egghead on the top of it, of course. It looked just very, very similar to Egghead, man. Like, I don't know, something about it just struck to me where I'm like, was that fucking Egghead? Did they move Egghead somehow? Like, did they move God Valley? Because we all know it disappeared. Like, and we all like have this big speculation that it didn't just get wiped out. We all like, some of us know like it didn't just get wiped out. It moved, right? So I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. That last panel was weird, but
You know what,
Dylan
Egghead?
Bark was good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
So to go to your Egghead point, I think there's valid because I still believe there's an artificial component to it, but I do believe that Egghead and God Valley have connections. So I won't go against it too much because I do think that it will connect back. But the reason why I'm saying Thriller Bark is it's an island that Brooke said had appeared. It wasn't there when he was here, but appeared during the 50 years that he was here. An island that originally comes from the West Blue, and that naturally had a lot of dead bodies, in which they said they couldn't retrieve any body on the island, just disappeared. And among the bodies, there were rocks, zombies on the island. That's why it made me think, yeah, and I've always said that I do feel like that there's a piece of I think Thriller Bark could be a small piece. Then it goes with what Denton's saying with the Goatee Roger leaks, where he talked about Thriller Bark has connection to God Valley, but it really made me think of this chapter, But
Yeah.
But yeah, so
What got me
yeah,
what got me was like the whole Ginny part, right? The whole like Ivanka's little sister. She has a striking resemblance to Atlas and a striking resemblance to York, right? Like the freckles, the like kind of the hair. And I'm thinking like, what if all the satellites were modeled after like these children? Because remember, he doesn't Oda specifically does not show us the other children that were talking to Kuma. And I'm like, he
yeah.
did that for a reason. And I'm like, what if all these satellites were modeled after these children that survived
Yeah, we
God
just
Valley
talked about
somehow?
this.
That'd be fucking wild. That'd be absolute wild.
So hear me out, Smokey. This is something I said the other day. Joshua was here for it, but remember how, and I said this, I'm pretty sure I always said there's a reason why Oda waited so long to have Jinbei out of the picture. And we've seen an Egghead. When there's stuff that connects back to his past that he's seen, he asks questions, like in Wano as well. Like he seems to connect to stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
don't you find it that it's coincidental that the time of the story where Jinbei completely disappeared was the Dressrosa arc? That seems to parallel God Valley. I'm wondering if Oda specifically took him out because, you ready? Maybe Jinbei was one of those kids at God Valley. He's around the
Right.
same age as Kuma and Vankov.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he
Just
seems
like he
and he
takes out Brooke, he leaves
yeah,
Brooke out when he's talking about Nika shit.
yeah. And S Shark
True.
seems to really hate people. Think about it. S Shark looks to hate humanity. It's not the Jinbei we know. He hates. He saw Nami and Sanji, and he immediately attacked them when he saw them.
Well, what? Yeah, we know the slaves, the fishermen were slaves at one point too.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a good callback for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to hear more of your thoughts. I've been yakking a lot now. So like, what are your future thoughts on this arc? Yep.
So I definitely got to say this because I just now was like fully thinking about it. So, Who's Who was in Marie Joie as a slave. He wasn't in Impel Down.
Yeah, you're right. He was at
Because
Marie.
he would have heard about them talking about Nika, but they talked about Nika in Marie Joie. Because the
Right, that's how he
Celestial
knows
Dragons
so
are
much.
walking around. They're
Yeah,
walking
that is
around with no masks, no nothing on.
right. We know the Goro say no Nika, right? Like Saint J recognized Nika when he was fighting
Yeah.
Kizaru last
Yeah.
chapter. He's like, oh, Nika. So yeah, that is a good call.
Uh,
That is a good call back to you for sure.
yeah, I would also say, well, I still have, but you're right. Like canonly, they said slaves, but the way they treated Buggy and Buggy, who liberated all those prisoners, they start calling him the Messiah. I do feel like some people are gonna pell down, but yeah, I do agree. It hasn't been factual, just my head canon. But yeah, Mary Joyce. But the thing is also that I'm very happy about this thing is with the Dressrosa parallel. Still, I still believe that we're gonna get the reveal of Garp's rocks. I think we might get an understanding on because I said that there's something weird, especially with Big Mom. She's had that road polygamy for 25 years and did not make a move. I think there was a twist in like bigger than we expect. Like there's something that happened in God Valley that made them understand like it's a God's power. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you don't trifle with. Because she said she needs the Giants to do what she needs to do. Big Mom of all people.
Yeah, we've been
Like it's
getting a
weird.
lot of callbacks to the Giants and how important they are. We see Luffy transform into a giant. Like, yeah, they're definitely important. And that kind of brings back the whole Thriller Bark shit with like Oars, you know, him being a giant, him that maybe his there's a big theory about his race being eradicated or like, you know, exterminated or whatever. Yeah, that is like there's so many connections to like a lot. This chapter is straight litty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, from seeing Saint J. Garcia's abilities that we've seen so far, I mean, we see him heal from a wound as what we can say is a hypothetical Zoan, more than likely a mythical Zoan. Like, I know people were saying maybe he was just a demon the whole time, but it's probably a devil fruit because Vegapunk even says, "Oh, it must be a devil fruit." So, but
Right.
we see him heal from a wound, and I don't think we've ever seen someone like heal like that wasn't a Logia. That's like,
Right,
So
right,
my
right.
thing my thing is I think it's about his name. I think his food connects something with time. Because the way that they just stopped moving and they were stuck in position, you know what it made me think of? Luffy against Foxy. Luffy against Foxy is a
ah,
small style of it, but if you think about it, his name is based off time. And I'm not saying that he could. And even the thing he said to Kizaru, it says it took. It seems that it took longer. And Kizaru and Luffy seems to be completely like. And it's the moment that Saturn was summoned because just before he was summoned, they were still fighting. They were sweating, but still fighting. And just after he comes, they just collapse. You know, like everything just And I'm wondering if he affects time in a different way.
yeah,
Slow
he
or
could be
something.
affecting time, but I'm still trying to dissect what his beam power is because on one
Yeah.
hand, on one hand he blew off somebody's head, but then also Sanji got hit with it. But I know Sanji's like a experiment, so it's of course
Right,
he's gonna
right.
be more resilient. But
For
the fact he
sure.
got hit with it and just got instantly like on the ground fatigued is still
Yeah,
so
even Bunny got hit
crazy.
in the chapter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
But, well,
Bonnie got
Bonnie's
yeah.
probably alive because she's a Buccaneer. She's got Buccaneer
Oh
blood
yeah,
Yeah.
for
inside her.
Right. She
sure,
got Buccaneer
guaranteed.
blood for sure.
Like she
Guaranteed.
might have been, she might be getting fleshed out right now, but yeah, she gonna make it.
You know
Yeah.
what?
You guys
Also,
think this is like something outside of hockey, or is it you think it's like another tier of hockey where it's like a
I think it's another
fucking
tier.
direct beam of conquerors or something like I don't know.
It made me think of Shanks, what he did to Green Bull, but offensively.
Uh, yeah,
Like psychic. It's literally telekinesis to some extent, or you know what I mean? Some sort of like kinetic blast. Because
yeah.
Shanks was talking to Green Bull kilometers away from the island, so it could make
Mm.
sense that there's a way of actually like making someone feel pain from far away.
I've always said that Kong, because me and Dan have been working on a little theory video, and I've always said that conquerors is a like a form of sonar. You know what I mean? Like we've always seen it as a form of sonar. I've always connected it back to like the whale tree from Zoe. More on that theory video, but like yeah, I think it might be like some type of offensive. What if it was hockey? Do you agree it would be Conkers or Armament, or maybe a combination of all of them, or what? Since it's observation too.
For me,
Like,
because
what do
I
you guys
believe
think on that?
for me, Conquerors is just like awakening. It amplifies what you already can do. I think a mix of Conquerors with, I think, observation is the only one. Armament's all about, it could be a mix of three actually. Using observation with Conquerors and then using armament to, to damage them from afar. But
Right, right. Yeah, that's crazy. Like turn it into a concussion, some concussion blast or something. Yeah, that's crazy. That'd be wicked if it was a combination of all three. I would absolutely love it.
yeah.
I
So
love
you know what, guys? Since it's the chapter for this, after the last chapter where we saw with Saturn what he did, is thinking that the government have a means to change someone, to make someone forget who he is, and if so, do you guys still think it's that it could be far fetched? Is that the reason why Garp was the only one who could stop Rox, and after Garp became the hero, Rox just was annihilated? That actually they're the same person. That's why no one
you.
recognized Garp's name in the newspaper.
So you're saying, wait, hold on. So to clarify, you're saying like they basically made him forget who he was, and that's how
Yeah,
he was defeated. If that's
yeah,
if that's what you're saying, then I could somewhat see that. We all remember like Hero Look's speech about when a person dies, they only die when they're forgotten. Like Oda hints on that a lot, so I could definitely see that happening for sure.
I mean,
yeah.
I could see it,
I
but
mean, that's the whole
I
story of the Book
it
of
would be
Life, right?
it'd be
Yeah.
hard to explain how he became so close with Roger then, because like this was like their big thing, like working together to defeat Rocks. So
Yeah,
that's where I question it a bit.
but that's the thing I found very interesting because actually Roger, even Sengoku says there's no rival bigger than Zingzabex. But yet Roger told to Garp when he gave him his son, he first tells him, "Take care of my son." Why would I? I'm a Marine. Well, I know exactly the type of person you truly are. And then he said, "Don't forget, you have been my biggest rival. We've almost killed each other more than once." And I found it very interesting the way Roger, of all people, gives his son to Garp. And I'm wondering if Roger actually knows, knowing who he is, Roger, stuff like that, he's, that's why he gave it to him. I'm actually wondering if he knew he was one person who could take care of his son. That's why I like it. Because I feel like but you're right, I think there's nuance. Something happened, and I think Roger isn't dumb. He understood that there's some stuff you can travel with because Oda did specify in that Road to Laugh Tale that for 10 years, Roger, after God Valley, didn't do anything. And on the year he goes after the One Piece, he gets the illness, which I don't think is a coincidence. So I think there's a nuance, but yeah, like there's something. For me, there is something. I think they have some sort of technology or some sort of power, and I think it could be a Gorosei power, but one that we haven't seen yet.
I am so interested to find out what the other Gorosei's powers are, because if this is
Yeah.
the first guy we're getting and he's got like 5 different things combined into
Yeah.
one, I'm just like,
He's
Yeah.
headshotting kids. He's like he's like on some Wolverine stuff, like Deadpool stuff, health regeneration. Like he's willingly getting stabbed just so he could show off his
he's like
regeneration.
spiritual pressuring them, like Bleach style.
Yeah. He's like holding them down without even. Yeah, it's wild. It is absolutely wild stuff. What do you guys think about the whole Kuma stuff? We haven't even talked about
Oh
Kuma
my
yet.
Yeah,
God.
To me,
yeah,
that's
that's
where
true.
the spice.
That's like
Yeah.
everything we wanted to know and more.
Yeah.
Yes. Dude, that panel where you see Kuma kind of like doing the Nika dance, I almost woke my son up. I
Oh,
hollered. I
my
screamed
heart
so loud, I
was.
almost.
Oh,
It was
Yeah,
I
foretold,
almost
bro.
woke him up.
the amount of
Foretold.
emotions Oda can put in just 4 pages.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it
I was
break
like
you.
his whole backstory, man, like where the dad tells him like the mom passed away. Oh, like dude, Oda was in his bag with that, man.
And
He
the
was in
thing
his
is,
bag.
this is just the first chapter. This is just the
Yes.
beginning.
yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
an
man.
introduction.
So I have a question because you all saw how Kuma's father was, right? You know how they
Right.
said they were the last of their race. Do you think it was a metaphor, or they were being? Because when I saw Kuma's father, you know who he made me think of in his physical appearance? Jozu. He had the similar body
Oh.
structure as
Similar,
Jozu.
yeah. Similar,
And
yeah.
Jozu
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Jozu was shown to what in Marineford carry ice like it was nothing. He took the big piece
Yeah,
of
the
ice like it was
strength,
nothing. Yeah.
the strength that he had. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah, that's
So yeah,
crazy.
because I saw this
Um,
headcanon. I think. Yeah.
no, go ahead, guys.
What?
Okay.
What? Yeah, I think it was someone's kid. Let's say it was
That's my
someone's
Oh,
boy.
kid.
That's
okay.
my boy. It was not me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I do feel like that. I do feel like that for the chapter, though. You know, that's
This
something
is
Lucas would
so
do.
messed
That's like so
Uh,
Lucas, right? Like,
I was,
so Lucas type. Is Lucas in the chat or what?
that is pretty Lucas score.
It's very Lucasy. I've heard
Cody's trying
him.
to get in right now. By the
Oh,
way,
get
he's
him
up
in,
in
get him in, get him in.
Yeah, I'm getting him. I'm getting Cody in.
How long's he been waiting? Shit.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he
I
just
just saw the
got in.
message.
couple minutes.
Too long.
You been waiting?
Coda!
I've been waiting. I had to go run
Bro.
errands. I'm so sorry. What's
Oh,
up,
you're good.
everyone?
You're good, bro.
Yo,
Aaron, you say?
We're
Cody.
glad to have you in
Are we
here.
live?
Yes.
I mean, is this just the? Oh wow, I didn't even know that. I just jumped in.
Oh, you're
Are we
great.
live?
No, we are doing
Are we
good.
Yeah.
They're cooking in the chat. People are
Smokey,
excited.
that's Smokey. That's why it's written stream VC.
I don't pay attention to any of that, man. I just jumped. I
Yo,
just
that's
jump
my
in.
boy
and
on Smokey. Have we talked about the cover story yet for 1095?
We're still getting. We're
I
still
will
on it.
say
We're
that it
still on it.
pisses me off.
All right.
Pisses
Let's
me
talk
off,
about how
man.
amazing that, like, the confirmation that Buggy's red nose isn't like a prop, but it's a real nose being confirmed on an art cover story. How wild is that? There's a red nose tribe out there. What's up with that? Are we going to see this in the God Valley race extermination war? I don't know, but just like having my big Buggy theory being confirmed that he is of a special race is huge. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I
Oh, no, I
fully and
agree.
wholeheartedly agree.
So
Yeah.
He's kicking it.
before you jumped in, I was just saying that I believe that Jozu might also be a Buccaneer, because on the way he looks, his shoulders and body structure looks similar to Kuma's father. And in Marineford, he was just carrying stuff with nothing, with no barely. It was nothing for him. It was feeling like it was nothing. So that's the last thing you missed. You know, so maybe there are more Buccaneers.
I mean, at this
Possibly.
point,
Definitely Whitebeard has to have that blood in him.
yeah, at this point we need more information because Sutton just said that Kuma was the last Buccaneer.
Yeah, but that's why I was asking if it was a metaphor or if it was they're being literal, because you know you don't. It's very. You know, you never know.
Or maybe just Kuma was the just
Last
a
born.
full-blooded Buccaneer
Yeah.
or something like that.
That's kind of what I took it as. Maybe like he could have been the last full-blooded or the last born. I don't know.
Well, they said one of his parents was completely human, and then the other one was the Buccaneer. So he has to
Well,
be
I thought
only
that was a
half.
lie, though. I think that was his dad. I think that's what I read it is that was his dad telling a lie, right? So they would spare her, right? If I'm not
I mean,
he was
mistaken.
also saying,
I think it's the truth because we got the the doctor scene. That, like, I'm pretty sure that she's human and it's just it's a half situation. But like,
I mean, yeah.
speaking of the races, I think it's interesting that on the buggy cover we get to see another monkey. This is the second
Yeah.
monkey we've seen this month.
Right, right, with Cody and Hamepo. These monkeys are pissing me the fuck off, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
All right, Gato,
Now-
calm down. All right.
I was just like, it's more like Frieza.
also, I have a question. Do you think that they killed Kuma's father because he was just singing, or that song triggers them?
Yeah,
I think that they definitely recognize the song.
No, for me, I just think the Celestial Dragon was annoyed for too much. Yeah, he was too loud or something.
Yeah,
that's what I got from that.
But yeah, but
what do you guys
I
think?
agree.
Yeah, Cody.
I want to let Smokey go first.
No, I was just gonna say I agree that they could have recognized that song, or at least tales. You know what I mean? Or at least heard tales of that, and they're like, "Nah, you're not gonna sing this over here." Bam, and it popped them. But who knows?
I'm gonna throw my camera on here real quick because I gotta show I gotta show Coob this. I have volume 96 right here, and if you look, we have all the young Roger and Whitebeard pirates. Look at the close resemblance to Jozu and Kuma. Like, y'all seeing this?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
wild. I didn't even realize that till I picked it up off the floor, and I was like, "Whoa, it's crazy." Coob just mentioned that, but yeah. Do you guys think that this is Saturn's hybrid form, or do you think this is his full zone? Like,
I
like
think you.
I think
Looks
it's
like
his
a hybrid.
hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid.
Looks like a hybrid for sure.
Yeah.
And what we saw the silhouette in the Marija flashback was his full form with the
Yeah, maybe,
giant
yeah.
head.
Okay.
then
And also,
one more.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
we see a version of him with no horns in this chapter. Our last chapter.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
someone.
think it's a Black Maria situation. I think it is a hybrid.
Yeah. But there was nothing. Marv, I was on Marv's stream this week when doing his chapter reaction, and he did look on panel, and it's weird, but he says the shape of Saturn, if it's indeed Saturn, because it seems to be the same one, and at the Reverie, the horn weren't the same form, like they were a bit different. So I'm wondering if he can also change the shape of his horn depending of his form.
We'll see. That would be cool. That'd be dope. And I could also see that as just something Oda switching up or whatever with his drawings. But
Yeah,
either
true.
way, it would be super dope. You know,
Alright,
and I would love that.
What makes Frankie special to move?
Yeah. Well, he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
I always go back to the petrification, right, where Esne hits him with that, and half of his body. Like,
so if Kuma were to show up, Kuma wouldn't be affected because he's also a cyborg, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have no will anymore, so
1,000%. I think it's the will. Well, I kind of disagree on him not having will. I think there is a sliver of will. That's why he's headed. He's just on a man on a mission, right? He gets his foot severed, and he's just still taking off. But like for the most part, I don't think he does. But I do think there is a sliver. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think there is somewhat. But back to the whole Kuma thing, like the whole cyborg. That's my guess as to why, why he's not able to, why he's able to move.
I mean, that could be it, but he's also just shooting out his arm and pulling Luffy, so he doesn't really move. He just sort of snatches him from where he's standing. In a way.
I think it was a pull. Luffy was seen coughing up blood after Frankie hit him. I think Frankie actually punched Luffy.
Yeah,
I think it like
him.
overextended. He like punched him and then kept going and then grabbed him.
Yeah.
It looked like he just cracked him out the way so he wouldn't get stomped and then grabbed him. So maybe a combination of both. I don't know. It's super weird. That's a good question though, man. That's a really good question.
It is a good question.
You know how they said that they can only do the pacifista, it seems, with Kuma because of him being a buccaneer? This is crazy because there's something that I remember there was this Reddit post over a year ago when we saw that flashback of King and Kaido at Punk Hazard. And someone had said, if you look at King, there were skin grafts. They were taken from his skin, which Lunarian could be very hardened. Do you think the reason why they needed a buccaneer is because it's the only race that can deal for the pacifista with Lunarian DNA? Like the pacifista are made of both buccaneer and Lunarian. The strength of buccaneers.
Spit my theory to you.
Yeah.
I think about the energy source and how I think Kuma's race is the same race of people who never sleep, which would make Blackbeard a buccaneer. And I think that's why it makes Kuma the perfect pacifista subject, is because while we're going through Egghead, sorry, I just smoked. I'm trying not to cough.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're going through Egghead, energy is a big, big thing. We can't operate the big robot without the sun. Frankie using Cola blew Vegapunk's mind. And I mean, energy is like this huge thing there. Like Vega Force can't operate outside of the island because of the energy consumption is too high. So that got me thinking, well, pacifistas are robots that can operate almost autonomously without energy. What would be their energy source? And then I thought, what if Kuma was also a human that never slept? And that would make Kuma and Blackbeard the same race. And that's my big theory.
Well, he is a giant. Blackbeard is big like that. He's like a big, bulky guy, like a Kuma type. I love that. I love that theory. And remember, like the first time we hear about the race or people that do not sleep was in Drum Island. We know,
Yep.
like maybe Oda was trying to tell us something because we know Blackbeard showed up at Drum Island. So good callback, my guy. That's a spicy one, baby. I love it. I love it.
I've been sitting on that for like a year ever since I saw the Bonnie going into Kuma's memories, and I saw small
hmm
Kuma crying, and I was like, "Damn, that really looks like Blackbeard." And so I was like, just
And
trying to piece a connection together. And that's what I came up with.
this might be a small thing. This might be, nitpicky, but not nitpicky, but like their hair is very similar. They have that same black,
Yeah.
wavy, curly type hair. You know what I
And,
mean? So that's pretty awesome.
and I'm gonna bring back what Cody because I now remember Cody brought it up I think yesterday or before yesterday to me, but and I said that when it would make sense for Kuma, like maybe the Buccaneer is that race that don't sleep, is people don't know that Kuma's fruits makes him immune to remove pain from his body, but also tiredness and fatigue. His fruit actually does that. So basically, if he was also someone who doesn't sleep, because of his fruit, you might mix it with his fruit ability. So that's why I find it very interesting.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you said earlier about the hair. Usopp has the same type of hair.
Yeah,
Usopp
true.
also has
Very
the same
true.
kind of lips as Blackbeard. Maybe Usopp actually has some Buccaneer DNA somewhere.
And listen, this might be a small thing too. We know Usopp sleeps, but there has been many times where he kind of like stays up. He has stayed up to like fix the going merry. You know what I mean?
I
Or like
like this.
I don't know. That's crazy. I would love that. He is a giant. He might be a giant. Usopp might be a freaking giant,
Oh, I
bro.
like that. I like that a
He's
lot.
got to go back to his roots.
Elbaf.
I've had
Like,
Blackbeard
all the
Kuma are the
Elbaf
same race
connections. Oh my!
for so long.
That tells you
I
a
man.
lot about his dad and what he was into. Out of pocket.
Usopp wants
pocket.
snoo. Usopp wants snoo.
Death
But
by
you know what?
Snoop Snoop.
Smokey,
I would
you're
love
onto
to go.
something. You might be onto something. Think about this, right? Usopp naturally gravitates toward giants, right? I do believe that
1000%.
Nami's origin, her being Swedish, Scandinavian, Viking, that be basically a Viking. I think we might get a lore. Yeah,
Loki has a huge nose. Loki has a long nose. Usopp is a
Okay.
descendant of Loki.
Yeah. Okay. Just to finish before I lose my train of thoughts, with because it's right here on my mind. Usopp. I do believe Nami will in Elbaf. We might get a connection to an old tribe that'll connect back to Nami. She doesn't need to get a family thing, but just explanation of some of the stuff that is unique about Nami. And if you think about it, Usopp lied about being related to Nolan, which is interesting because Nolan destroyed a huge beanstalk in Skypiea, in Jaya, back in the old days. Another thing that Jack and the Beanstalk connects to giants. So I do wondering what the natural connection to Usopp. I'm not saying he's a Buccaneer, but there could be something about about him that connects naturally to giants.
Well, that I like. Nami and Usopp have this friendship amongst the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
They're like one of the best friends. Like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Nami's always there for Usopp. She's always been there for like in his special moments when he battled Daddy Masterson. Like when he proclaimed that he wanted to go to Elbaf on Little Garden, Nami was right there. Like that first time he fell in love with giants, Nami was right there. That's a good callback too. We might be cooking, man.
Coob,
you want to know something?
You really got me cooking, Coob. I think
that's,
regardless.
yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
you go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last thing for those because we have this crazy. I've been working for Denda Noza for a very long time on this Nami theory. We still haven't dropped it. It's gonna be a massive theory. We have so much stuff that we're waiting for Elbaf because it will connect back. She was found in Oko Kingdom, which is Tokyo backwards. The only other place in the world that does the same thing with a word backward makes it a different word is Elbaf. It's the only other one, which
Fable.
I think that's why I think
Fable.
she's connected to Elbaf as well. Yeah, Fable.
Maybe Elbaf's a part of a larger kingdom, and like there's more in it, or more sub kingdoms, or like little things.
Yeah.
Because maybe humans have their own kingdom, like on the island of Elbaf. Like, there's so much we don't know. But regardless of even if Usopp has giant DNA, I've just like took a piss and I was like, oh my gee, I put it all together. Loki is gonna have a long nose, regardless if he is like related to Usopp or not, because that just gives Usopp an into the giants. And that would be so funny to have Loki the long nose and like just relating that to Usopp. I think it's the perfect thing.
Yeah.
I
What do you
think
guys think the relation Loki will have on the story and its impact? Do you think it will be huge in some way, shape, or form?
it's going to be massive, but I think like how everybody thinks, Elbaf will be Usopp's story, right? And we know that Loki is a trickster. Usopp likes to tell lies. How like Dax, if he's still in the comments section, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but Dax always says like it might be a battle of lies, like a tale of who could lie the best. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
trickster
So
versus somebody that lies. I don't know. That'd
so
be beautiful.
See,
actually, I want
I'm
to.
scared to say that Elbaf will be Usopp's story because I was for sure thinking that Egghead would be Frankie's, and Egghead's kind of transformed into like, whoa, this is
Bonnie.
Egghead.
Bonnie.
That's
But yeah,
everyone's right now.
well, I
Well,
mean,
I
not
was
even
gonna.
just Bonnie, but we got the Law and Kid stories along with our like first appearance of like Shanks doing something. Like it's just Egghead has transformed into so much more than man. This is a cool Frankie arc. Like.
No, I mean we're
but
definitely this is the final saga. We've gotten to the point where
Yeah.
but look,
he's bringing in everything. Like we're not in these isolated stories anymore, and I love it.
let me say this though. The whole Frankie and Egghead thing, that not to be rude, that's a little bit of headcanon. But what's not headcanon is Usopp's connection to Elbaf. We've been hearing about
Whoa, whoa,
this
whoa.
for 20
Headcanon?
years plus. Not headcanon, but it kind of is. If you're like attributing that to only being Frankie's story, it's kind of headcanon in the realm of headcanon. But when you compare Usopp to Elbaf and all the connections, that is not headcanon. That's Oda telling us like he has a connection to
Frankie
Elbaf.
being
You know what I mean?
the scientific like man who can power things off cola. Frankie landing on Vegapunk's island for the 2
No,
year
no,
time
That's what I
skip.
was
no,
gonna
no, no, no.
bring up.
Listen, no,
Or is
you're
this
you're
all?
mistaking what I'm saying. You're mistaking what I'm saying. I'm not
I
saying
am.
it shouldn't have been that way. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Frankie get some type of. He still might get some type of egghead upgrade, but Oda hasn't been telling us this for years that Frankie, this is going to be his story about Egghead. He has,
Smokey.
however, has been saying that about Usopp and Elbaf is what I mean. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say that's not a good idea. I would have loved that if this was somehow Frankie's story, and it can still be in a way. But Usopp, like Oda has directly said, like Usopp and Elbaf, the connections, like we can go on for hours talking about the connections Usopp has to Elbaf and how he's been wanting to go there. You know what I mean? Every time we hear about every time the Straw Hats hear about Elbaf, Usopp's right there jumping for joy. That's what I'm basically trying to say is like 20 plus years. If it's not his story, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna
I
be
mean,
pissed.
I have to agree because anytime that somebody said that something's gonna be this character's arc, it hasn't really gone that way. Like Whole Cake had a lot of good Sanji moments, but I wouldn't say it's this is the like I mean of course he
Yeah,
is the main thing, but it's not like Sanji did so much this whole arc.
right.
I mean same with Wano. Everyone was like this is gonna be
Zoro.
Zoro's arc. We're gonna get
Right,
so
right,
much
right, right,
information about Zoro.
right.
And
We got
I
some,
mean,
but
in the
probably
story, there
two
weren't
more.
that many things. Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was
So,
just saying, like, in the story, there's not many, like, interactions that tell us that this is going to happen. But with Usopp, we have seen multiple moments where it's like, where Usopp and the Giants has been clearly stated is a very important thing that needs to be addressed. Like, I think the Frankie Vegapunk thing is a coincidence that can lead somewhere really nice, but I don't think it's like it has to happen.
so
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump
That's
in, and
crazy to me.
I'm
Like
gonna jump in a
I'm
bit.
baffled.
So first of all, and I'll say this: if you turn in terms of like feats or like event wise, I would agree with Sanji and Zoro. Fano. But in terms of character development, and I'll say this: Zoro has always been about the goal of being number one swordsman. When he beat King, he said this: I will make my captain the Pirate King. He usually says I have to be number one swordsman because my captain will be Pirate King. At that moment, he said no. I have to beat you because my captain has to be Pirate King. On that instant, he did not even think of his own ambition, but on his
Yeah.
crew as a total. Whole Cake Sanji went over through a thing, and then he saved his family, the people he called monsters. I think Oda, what he's doing is he is having them break like minor obstacles that they'll have in the future, in which I do agree. I think they're going to get the main arc all around the same time. We got major battles, but I think he's also learning with hockey. There's a mind aspect that you need to deal with, not just a physical aspect. And we're seeing the physical aspect mostly with Zoro and Luffy. And Luffy is, I think, the most physical aspect. But I think he's doing a thing with the crew. That's why I'll say this. If you look at the storyline of Chopper, Frankie, Robin, Nami, and Usopp, it's a spectrum every arc. Like you see them going through different things. And he's being more like Zoro is the most obvious one that he always keeps Zoro for a specific thing: fighting, sleeping, training. That's all. And in Wano, he starts shifting it, showing Zoro witnessing Yasui. We didn't see that this kind of Zoro since Alabasta. No, Thriller Bark. Let's say even Thriller Bark. Nothing happened, Literally, that was the last time we saw him like do something that goes so higher. He was about to smack down the people for laughing for Yasui, and he was so furious. You know what I mean? Like he is showing that there's this microscopic changes that's happening, and I think he's doing like this domino effect. You only see the full effect when you see all the dominoes falling down. So I think that's what he's doing with the arcs. But I would agree.
I agree. I agree with that then, with what you're saying, because Oda's greatest thing is subtlety, and basically what I was saying is like Usopp, I think, will be an on the nose sort of situation because
good pun, great pun. No, but what I was gonna say though, like what I was gonna say about Usopp is like it's like what Elbaf. It's almost like his secondary dream, right? We all know his first dream is to be a brave warrior, but other than Brook saying he's going to meet up with Laboon, no other Straw Hat has said, I am going to this place in particularly. Usopp, on the other hand, has literally said, he said, I'm going to be king of the pirates. He said, I'm going to be king of the pirates. He rarely says, I'm going to Laugh Tale. But Usopp literally says, I am going to Elbaf. He has said this, I am going there. I want to go there so many times. You know what I mean? It's like his secondary dream. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the reason why I say like that's important to Usopp. But going back to what Cody said, like I agree, man. I do think Frankie. This should have been somewhat of Frankie's.
Especially with
story.
like I'm like going through it now. Punk Hazard. There was a bunch of Frankie simping over Vegapunk panels. I mean, like like there throughout the story consistently. We also have to remember Punk Hazard happened like, was it almost 10, 15 years ago? Like.
Somewhat.
It's been building up. Like the Frankie Vegapunk things, I think to call it headcanon for fans to want that, the same way they wanted Zoro to have Wano, the same way they wanted Sanji to have Whole Cake and all this other thing. I think it's just like a bit dismissive, and I wouldn't really like the way it was handled. But I agree with most of your takes.
I just to specifically say that that's going to, like, Oda himself hasn't said this is going to be this is going to be Frankie's story is what I'm saying. He has said that with Usopp. So what people think, like, it is true. I do, like I said, I do believe that it should have been, especially like going back to all the theories about Frankie possibly finding that abandoning Mads research ship. That ship could have had a lot of Vegapunk technology. All those theories would have been beautiful. But it is still, if you're making something up that Oda hasn't said, it's in the realm of headcanon. But you cannot say that about Usopp and Elbaf. Like Oda himself has said multiple times. You know what I mean? Just like Zoro with Wano, just like Sanji and Whole Cake, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So it might not be headcanon, but it wasn't. Oda hasn't said this specifically.
So I will jump in because I see what Cody is. I know what Cody is saying, but I'll say this. Anyone who has read Egghead more than once, you will see that there's something weird about the satellites and Frankie. It doesn't seem like they're actually seeing him. You will see it. It's weird. Every time he asks questions, they look at him and they don't answer. Every one of them. Every question that Frankie, think about it. Frankie, every time he asks a question, the only time he answered to a question, it was the Will of O'Hara. It's because Usopp said the same thing as him at the same time. And I'm wondering, and I do believe Vegapunk, he talked about affecting Kuma's memories, right? I'm wondering if there's a set of stuff that he's planning to do after the world government, and Frankie's a part of it. Because I said this, Frankie being sent by Kuma to Vegapunk's initial lab that's also secret, and all those places. And then, because Cody is right, we've seen Frankie time and time again make comments that he acknowledges Vegapunk's research, but yet, think about it, the satellites get excited over the smallest thing. and none of them seem to be interested with one cyborg in the crew. You reread Egghead, it's very weird. It seems like Vegapunk made sure that if Frankie ever comes out with the satellites, they won't go to him. You know what I mean? For some reason. So that's why I do feel like for Cody, he's right, because Oda never said it. But if you look at Frankie and those different arcs, you see that Oda is hinting this meeting with Vegapunk and Frankie, and then this arc, he's right. Like they're not answering. That's why I'm on. I understand what Cody's saying, Smokey's saying, but I understand what Cody, because if you look at the interaction, you're getting nothing from Frankie and Vegapunk, nothing at all, which is just
Well, no,
weird.
I'm not denying his connections and like any of that. I really am not. There's so many beautiful connections with Frankie and Dr. Vegapunk. You know, and one could even argue that maybe even the Wano could have been some of his art with the whole Pluton, you know, being mentioned. He has more connections than anybody when it comes to Pluton on the Straw Hats. But I'm just going off what Oda has told us. If you're gonna compare that to Usopp, it's not a comparison, you know.
I mean,
but
no,
like I said, I cannot deny the
Oh,
connection that Ricky has with Vegapunk. 1,000% sure, 1,000%.
I want to jump in because we're talking about Loki, and you and Cody asked what do you guys think of Loki, and there's something I thought when I was doing some research a few months ago. I think I spoke about it with Denden, and I find it very interesting. We know that Loki is the god of mischief, right? So you would assume he would pull tricks, right? We know now he seems to be some sort of ruler of Elbaf, right? But we know that over 100 years ago, it seemed to specify that Dorian Broggy were also rulers in a sense, or leaders, right? And just so you know, we know that 100 years ago, Mother Caramel opened up her shop, you know, in Elbaf with young kids who were orphaned. Don't you think that that small girl that went to see Dorian Broggy were actually sent by Mother Caramel because she had a deal with Loki? Mother Caramel, who's the mom of Big Mom, who recently made a deal with Big Mom of all people, Loki. Do you think the reason why he did a deal with Big Mom is a long time ago? He made a deal with Mother Caramel that was lucrative for him. Do you think Loki is the reason why Dorian Broggy left using Mother Caramel's kid? What's your thought, guys?
You're talking about what's her name? The little girl that asked them the question, right? Of who caught the bigger sea king?
Yeah. I'm wanting
starts with a Y.
Yeah.
Yoki or something like that.
Yeah, Loki had Mother Caramel send her kid asking a question they know it would trigger them.
No, the girl's name it sounds like Loki too. I forget her name. Starts with a Y. Can't think of it right now, but that'd be beautiful if like that was all fabricated to have them fight amongst each other. Yeah. That'd be pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
You know?
Yeah.
Because and which would be interesting because the person that was told that story was to Usopp. Usopp heard the initial story from Dorian Broggy, so it would be interesting that he actually through Loki. And what if Usopp finds out about it and tries to tell the truth? Of all people, Usopp trying to tell the truth, trying to convince the entire island. You know, it could be also that.
That's brilliant. That's pretty brilliant. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, that'd be wild if the reason why they left that island.
Because nobody talks about it. This young girl is like 8, 9 years old in Elbaf, and at the time we did question, but they say Elbaf is a dangerous place. But however, we found out that there are kids living there with Mother Caramel around the same time. So yeah, that's why you know. So that's your answer, Cody, about Loki's role.
That's a good theory. That's a good theory, though. I'm not gonna lie. I could see that happening, especially if that little girl was maybe like, you know, Loki has shape shifting ability. What if that was actually Loki, like trying to get them to flee, and it did work? Like it caused a 100. What? How many years? Like 100-year battle.
Yeah, 100 year, 100 year. And they said that Mother Caramel came around 100 years ago.
Yikes! I'd never thought. That's pretty dope. That I can see that happening. Sure, I can see it happening.
But I do want to ask. Yeah, go. No. I'm just set the questions afterwards, but go. Then I'll set some questions.
I'm so interested in how many races have been eradicated through this game that they're doing every 3 years, and how long has this been going?
Yikes!
Because the potential of residual races, like, is this what? Were the Lunarians the first one to go through this? Like, I have so many questions.
I don't think it's a matter of races. I think it's a matter of kingdoms that are not affiliated.
Yeah.
Right. That get captured by the world government and then enslaved, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
That would make sense. It would make sense, you know. But My this is this my because I remember when I was a kid and there was a word they used in Sabaudi, could not find that version. So it's like it could be headcanon, but I'm pretty sure when they talk about the auction, they also talk at one point, yeah, they used to have freaks, but they're no here. And I always found it very weird. And then you think about it, we know Buggy we will see a Buggy baby soon, pretty soon, with a Shanks baby, because they were both because on the same SBS where there's a reveal of Shanks being found at God Valley, there's a laughter and it's Buggy's laugh. You can look at the trademark laugh. Only Buggy has that trademark laugh, so they were both there. So my question is this, right? We've seen that there are kids like there are people like, and they're not that far apart in age. Perispero, Katakuri, and Buggy are not that far in age. I think they're like a bit 10 years older than him, you know, and he was a baby. So if they would be 10 years older, they would be the same age as Kuma and all the other ones. I'm wondering if we might discover there were more people like Perispero, Katakuri, and Buggy, but they're all wiped out, most of them. Because they don't talk about that. There's a group of people who are just, I'm sorry to use the word, freaks in a sense. You know what I mean?
Like deformities and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's very weird, and I feel like the reason why we don't see that much is because most of them were just eradicated.
True. Likely, actually.
And it would make sense. They're the most obvious, you know. They would be the first one you would recognize because of their faces, you know. And they didn't mention that briefly, but I can never find that version of using freaks. But it would make sense, you know. And I always said that if you look at the age where we saw the flashback of Katakuri, it would have been 1 year after God Valley, because he would have been like 10 or 11 years old, and he was 13. And Big Mom had all those young kids who were 10 years old around them, just after God Valley.
What do you guys think
think
about Ginny, like this
Yeah.
mysterious Ginny, Ivankov's sister? Do you think, number one, she makes it out of this tournament, or you think,
Yeah,
she ends up?
it's pretty much implied that she's Bunny's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivankov talks at one point about Kuma is like a brother to me. Literally says that. And what we found out? Jenny calls Ivankov her older brother Ivankov. I think Ivankov was being literal when at one point in Marineford when he talked about Kuma.
Yeah,
He's my
also,
brother-in-law.
I wonder where in the timeline fits the Kuma being the king of the Sorbet Kingdom.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Because I do believe it's not a coincidence. When Ivankov met Luffy for the first time, he was 17 years old. If Ivankov meets Dragon at God Valley, Dragon would be at 17 years old. And when Ivankov looked at Luffy, at one point she looked at Dragon, like she could see Dragon's face, which now makes sense because they were around the same age. Maybe Luffy looks just like Dragon at that age, you know. We're saying now that there's some resemblance. My thing is, I'm wondering if God Valley was the first time that Dragon saved people, got a bad reputation because of it at a young age, and it helped them. Because I've said this, Ohara was a refugee island. The way they described it, the way they found it. What if Ivankov went to a deserted island, became the ruler of it, Kuma as well, Ohara was established, and what if Dragon facilitated everything? Because he came exactly after Ohara, and he seemed to have a big connection to it with Clover and everything.
Yeah.
What, you know, like Dragon helping out people find a new place, you know.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see them establishing O'Hara. If he did seem personally affected by like it burning down for sure.
Anyways, I'm like this for y'all. I'm actually started since yesterday writing my script for part 2 of God Valley, which I connect back to the Goa Kingdoms stuff. I think that Oda has been hinting with Dragon every time he raises. It fits to the events of God Valley, and in God Kingdom, they burned down the celestial dragon, the nobles and the not celestial but the kings burned down the thing on the people, which I think could explain that. I think celestial dragons could have been the one behind the destruction of God Valley, literally. But yeah, so I have a game for you guys. Are you ready? Since it seems that God Valley might be a game of guess which legend was there. Do you guys have? I have my list, but do you guys have ideas on other characters we met in the story that would fit around the age that you thought of? Oh, they could have been in God Valley too.
That's my first guess. Mihawk.
Yeah.
Same age as Shanks. You know, probably
I think we're gonna get
Buggy
baby
too.
2 years older. 2 years older than Shanks.
He still could have been around that time. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He could have been a young.
Yeah.
Buggy, maybe even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else? I don't know. That's a good one. It's a very good one. Maybe even Marco. Marco could be one. He could have been one of them.
I think Marco
I'm
is
trying to
too
think of
young.
huh?
Younger
Yeah, he might be
Marco.
right. I'm trying to think of like Rocks Pirates and their crew members, like the younger
So,
ones or like the older ones or whatever.
so for me, since I do see some Marineford parallels, especially with three Yonkos come out of God Valley, three Yonkos comes out of Marineford, and I've said this, they took an unnaturally time to present their powers, and two of them were locked in during the battles in Marineford. I feel like Josu and Marco were there as young kids because I find it very interesting that they were the only two at one point they were shown to be put into cages or in handcuffs. And Marco literally was in handcuffs the entire Marineford. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering if the parallel of God Valley is Whitebeard found him in chains. He was put in
we're
chains
gonna
after
get
he
to
saved
see
Whitebeard. Yeah.
we get to see Kid Katakuri too, so I'm excited to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Somebody that had deformities, he had deformities just like what we're talking about.
Yeah, Big Man should already have so a lot of children by now.
But that's the thing, yeah, and it also would make sense. I told two people like it would make sense that how Mazukama was not actually Big Mom's mom. It would make sense if she goes to a place like God Valley and there's all those kids. I would see Big Mom adopting, and it would explain why Perisperu and Katakuri are just different from the other children's. Think about it, surviving a place like God Valley might have bloomed their hockey because we've seen it. Most kids who go through this horrible stuff as young kids, Yamato, Ace, Luffy, Sabo, the list is long. They have crazy hockey. They have unstoppable hockey. You know what I mean? So it would make sense Katakuri could have bloomed his in God Valley. But yeah.
That is a good
What about
callback. Yeah, that is true. They have all crazy type hockey abilities.
Yeah. So what about Cody? What about you? Do you have a list of possible people that will show up? That will be there?
Gaimon.
Nice. Crazy hockey.
I hope so.
Mayor Whoop Slap. Let's see who else is on my list.
He's in the East.
Hey man, he had to come from somewhere,
You said he's from the West Blue? I like
you don't
that.
know, man.
We don't know.
Who else do I think was there? No, I think Gaimon and Mayor Whoop Slap were definitely the two big hitters there.
The Black Cat brothers from Captain Kuro's team.
Kuro. Yeah, you're right. Kuro was out there making a name. Kuro's gonna show up with the Rocks Pirates.
Django could have been the first Lunarian there.
Disco Piece is real.
You know what, Gaimon? You know what? I find it very interesting about Gaimon because let's say he is indeed there. It would make sense because I always felt like Gaimon's introduction and him specifically saying that he arrived on the island, he was left on the island on the same year that Roger was executed. I don't think it's a coincidence. Someone who meets both Buggy and Luffy.
Oh no, definitely not a coincidence.
No. They were fated to meet him, so yeah. It would be crazy because it's for the Gaimon. I feel like there's more to him in the past.
What about? I want to ask you guys. What about Crocodile, the D-Lo? What do you guys think about that guy? I think he could have been. He could have been one. Ivankov knows a little bit about him, and he could have found out whatever information that Clock doesn't want him to find out. It could have been right there on God Valley. I'm saying. Who knows?
You know what? Actually, you know how Hancock was a slave? Let's say all the other Shishibukai were also slave at God Valley. What if it's crazy? But what if their devil fruits were given by the Celestial Dragons?
Right. Like in this tournament.
I saw this really cool theory. I forgot who posted it on X, but someone said that each of the 6 prizes from there were mythical type zones that were given to people. So Big Mom gave the fish fruit to Kaido, and then someone gave the fruit to Whitebeard, Gura, and like somebody like all of them are going to be devil fruits. What do you guys think the prizes all are?
Actually,
devil fruits.
In this last chapter, Ivankov did say that Kuma was the actual prize in this tournament, right? I mean,
no. They said he was a contestant. because of his body. It's just more about he's like the one that the dark horse everyone wants to see fight. I think, or something like that. I think that was the
okay.
implication.
There was a mistranslation. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I love the whole concept of devil fruits, or particular devil fruits were handed out at God Valley to specific individuals. So yeah, I definitely do love that. I don't know. I could definitely see it happening.
This is where Kaido gets his Noone,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So I could see it happening for sure.
What if it's stupid, right? But what if it was Asuna, the prize, and Crocodile had it, got the hand of it? That would also explain why Crocodile. They keep showing Crocodile being like hiding himself, his identity. It would explain everything, changing his gender for a while. Because if he was indeed a woman, because the Suna is pretty an impressive devil fruit. Like I was thinking about fruits, the Suna would be a great prize because for Dressrosa was the mirror, right? A Logia, and we know that Logia have the status. Even though we know Mythical Zoans is amazing, there's still this headcanon world of One Piece. If you have a Logia, that's a headcanon of it. So it would make sense, you would prize up something like a Logia.
It could have been even all the Shichibukai. It could have been every single one of them in a way. Doflamingo, Mihawk, like they were like, and maybe Mihawk doesn't have a devil fruit, but
Don't remember Doflamingo. We saw it in his flashback. It was years later on. Remember he was
about his
Rebel was there. I'm here at the tournament of Gold Valley. I'm gonna get this fruit for Dopey.
God, I hope not.
I love me some Trouble, man. Love me some Trouble. Trouble's such a Chad. Trouble makes the ladies tremble.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd be happy to see him again, but not for too long.
I'm saying, like, Trouble makes the ladies tremble. That's what Vex would say.
Shout out to Vexus, #1 Treble Stan.
He's number 2, baby, after me. Okay, you hear that, Vex? You're number 2 after me. Okay. I will get lost in Treble goop. I will dive in there and get lost.
My!
Get your mucus up.
Cody, I have a question. Do you have the manga volume where Crocodiles is introduced or not?
No, I only have Wano.
Oh shit.
I only started by. I refused to buy One Piece until it was finished because I was like, "Damn, there's so much and it keeps coming out." And I got a steal on a collection on my Naruto, which I own all of. But so I was like, I'll just wait for One Piece to finish. But once Wano started coming out, I was like, "Fuck, I gotta own this." So
you went back on it, huh?
Yeah, I own all of Wano now, but that's it. I'm fucking. I think I own 57 for. That's the Marineford War arc. I wanted to have that because the double page spreads in that were crazy. And then
beautiful.
The first volume.
Oda was like, he was in his bag, just beautiful double. Oh my god, Marineford was wild. Oh, I love it. What a time. What a time, man.
I do have a question pertaining to that. Do you think that Oda's gonna make any big artistic switches like he did when it comes to something like that? If he's gonna change how his style is right now.
I don't know if I can't answer if he will or will he not. I would definitely love it if he did it for Outbath. We see some because they're giants, right? So he might have to fit in a lot in these panels, especially if there's a big fight. I would love to see that. I wouldn't mind at all. That's my take. But yeah, who knows, man? That's a good one. Good question. Would you guys mind if he did that?
No. Do you guys think Big Mom and Kaido are gonna come back?
1000%.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1000%. Maybe one. I could see one coming back, and that's Big Mom.
If they don't come back.
Too.
I mean, yeah, but I love that whole theory of like Kaido giving his soul to Big Mom as the debt he owes to her. That'd be dope. As long as we see it happening. Nobody likes that. I love it.
Or what if there's so much. There's so many theories.
Cody, I know you're a big Wano fan, but if they don't come back, I'm gonna have to rate Wano one of my least favorite arcs, man.
Oh no!
If they don't come back, they're gonna come back.
If they don't come back.
They're going to, because I mean Kaido didn't even have the cloud. Like let's get this straight. Kaido's coming back, he's gonna have a bit powered up, and it's gonna be fucking crazy.
I mean, just the fact that Awaken awakened people are a dime a dozen now, and
Momo's gonna be awakened.
this
I don't give a fuck.
this
I'm gonna say it
guy,
all.
the beast of the
Yes.
pirates, hundreds of like thousands of people on his crew, not a single person with flames. Not a single person awakened on a Yonko crew like that. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
You
Wild,
could say
yes.
the same about Luffy's crew right now, though. Luffy's the only one with an awakened fruit.
Yeah.
I think Chopper's awakened.
No, he's not.
Nah.
Josh was immediate with that. He's like, "Get the fuck out there with that shit."
Go fuck yourself.
Monster Crew. Come on.
What was
Sorry.
Smokey, you gonna get put in timeout.
I know. I'm sorry. That's the last time. She's already gave me 3 days. Already gave me a warning. That's the last warning I get.
So guys, I quickly went to see the first time Crocodile was introduced in Alabama because I was wondering if Asuna could be it. It's not much. We know Dressrosa, they called Kiros the hero. In God Valley, they called Garb the hero. In Alabasta, when Crocodile was first introduced and saved the people, making propaganda, the first thing a woman said, "My hero, our hero, Crocodile." I think it could be the Suna.
Macadamia.
The Suna could have been the price, which would make it very interesting. And I'll say this:
So-
if it's indeed the Suna that was the price, I wonder why they let Crocodile live that long. Unless if he was the winner.
The
He was
Suna is the
hiding. Maybe he
prize.
was hiding. Maybe he was
The
like
Suna
he
is the
said. He
prize.
was in.
Ginny eats it. Emporio Vonkov changes Ginny's gender, and that's Crocodile's giant secret. Boom.
Oh my god.
No.
So you're saying
Boom.
Crocodile is Bonnie's mother?
Boom.
No.
Not Luffy's mom. Croco mom lives in a new light. That would be the ultimate Oda troll. It's like, yeah.
The Croco piece
it's
is
mom.
real, you guys.
That would be
Honestly,
such an
Bonnie's
Oda
mom.
troll, though. And he reads this shit. He would be like, oh, it's not Luffy's mom. It's
You put
Bonnie's
it all
Oh,
together.
Bonnie's mom.
All of your neurons.
Oh,
are
and
activated,
Ivankov is
buddy.
your uncle/aunt.
Yo, I'm about to
Oh,
make a TikTok. You got me
wow.
fired up.
Bro, that's spiced.
Wow.
Spiced it to the next
Honestly?
degree.
if I was
Luffy could be like, I have an uncle and an aunt that's the same person, yo. What's up with it? Let's
I'm
get
my
it.
own grandpa.
Oh,
so, I
oh
was
my
gonna say,
lord.
I'm Uncle
My
Grandpa.
my personal headcanon, when Crocodile, if he's indeed a woman, it has to be revealed for it. I think Oda will have to do it the similar way to introduce Mr. Zero, because I think the best way he could do it in a writing way, instead of saying this is Crocodile, or later on showing reveal Crocodile, is hinting. Because don't forget, before he was hinted, they made this whole Mr. Zero, man behind the curtain. I would love him to do something similar that way with Crocodile. Like we keep seeing this girl on the sideline all the time, until she makes a move,
That is, I mean, Crocodile has to come back. His importance has to come back. Just like I always said, Bond Clay, his importance has to come back. Like these two. Oh no, that's gonna. The Croco Mom theories get pretty spicy, don't you guys think? They get pretty wild out there, man.
My question is this, because there were some older people in Baroque works, right? Do you think some of them could also be kids in God Valley? No, not the young ones, but there were some old ones.
Like Bond Clay?
Robin's mom.
I don't know. Maybe Miss Merry Christmas, she had a specific...
Miss Mary Thickness? Ooh.
Think about
Miss
it.
Mary Thickmiss.
She's the
That's my
only
girl,
one...
man.
Miss Merry Christmas was the only one that felt so weird. They all had a specific role. Like, in the duel, it was the other one that was a true strength, but she was just a mole, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was more to her, like more in the story-wise. And she's the one that Usopp actually fought, You know how Oda likes. When he has something reported, he has Usopp fight them because, we all
I
know
got a
it's
really
just-
important question.
Go, my brother.
What power-ups are left to give to the Straw Hats other than obviously giving them hockey? What narratively could we do to power up the Straw Hats anymore? And
Green
do
blood.
they need to be powered up anymore?
I mean, you
Green
can.
blood.
Yeah, every straw hat
Green
is a
blood,
whole
green.
discussion. You
Go ahead,
can have
Josh,
a
go ahead, cook.
discussion for everyone.
I think we should go with like
Okay.
each character.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear everybody's.
I think Luffy should be able to control the beat of his heart to make his Gear 5th last longer. That's a pretty easy one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
boy's
that's-
cooking
Oh, if he
That's
slows
Jeez.
his heart rate or something.
like
Oh
a
my
drum,
God.
like a drum. Ooh.
I mean, it's already a drum.
I think Zoro is going to be able to see Devil Fruit users' weaknesses in fighting Rob Lucci. He's going to have the get back of a century, and I think he's going to make one of his blades black.
Yeah. Besides making his braids black, I think it
The
has.
other eye.
Nah, not even that. That
He's got to use a Sharingan.
Go ahead, Josh. I want to hear what Josh says.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I think he has one move or more for every Buddhist. Yeah, no, every Buddhist realm except one.
Reincarnation path.
Yeah, except
I know what you're.
Yeah, I think
the Ashura demon, right?
The Samasara, is that the one we're missing, or did we get that one yet?
I don't know. There
It's
is
the one who has 9 arms. He has like 9 arms, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, yeah, he has the animal moves, the Ashra path, the King of Hell.
Path.
I lost my path. I lost my path. Or whatever. I got lost in my path.
I have to look it up, but I think he has one more path. He has to unlock.
They reference all of the paths in Naruto with the paths of pain. They have the Deva, the Preta, the reincarnation one. So you think that Zoro in such a way is going to take all those same paths?
Yeah.
With his sword style? That's pretty cool.
Might guy stuff. That's dope. Okay. So, what about Sanji?
I think Sanji's going to learn how to activate.
Who he is.
He's going to learn how to flip that switch manually. Like, he's going to learn that his eyebrow twirls the other way.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that Sanji's going to have more about emotions and controlling them. And
honestly,
like a pseudo voice of all things.
I might give an unpopular opinion. I don't think it's about individual power-ups. There's something that is very clear for me between when we saw Roger and Whitebeard's crew, and it connects back to Saboti when they lost to Kuma. They still don't know how to fight in one go, because when you look at Roger and Whitebeard pirates and the Roger pirates fight, they were fighting in everywhere, and it fit that all of them knew what they were doing. And if you look time and time again, the Shroud fights as a team, but they're very individual most of the time. You know, like even the moment in Wano with Big Mom, each one of them took their time. When you see the moment with Marco and Jozo going after Rayleigh, they're doing simultaneously attacks. They don't interfere with one another. You know what I mean? Like, I think they need individual, but I think they also need to learn how to know how to fight all together in one go, in one swoop.
As like a combo, last combination attack was Thriller Bark, wasn't it?
No, it was the Impel Down. No, it was the Impel Down train where Luffy and Zoro had their combination attack. You want to count that?
Or think of Alabasta. How was they able to get to the bomb? Sanji, Luffy, and Luffy came together and were sending each one of them higher and higher. You know, a combo. You know what I mean? Like, I think the individual is important, but I think until they know how to fight as one crew, you know what I mean?
I think that's how Shanks' crew fights, right? I think they use Lucky Roo as like a bowling ball or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
they're gonna have to learn how to fight together with the fight with the Blackbeard pirates.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right? Think about Jinbei sending a water attack, Nami sending a lightning. You know what I mean? Like, and they never do this kind of stuff. Like, they have some interesting combos. It's never that often. And also, if you think of Robin, how did Robin make that major power up in Wano? We saw her flashback of her training, learning 2 different styles from 2 different revolutionaries. You know what I mean? Putting it together.
Yeah.
I think this could be the one thing, because I'll say this: I can see Luffy, Sanji, Zoro. Not Jinbei, but Frankie having major power-ups because who they are, but the others, you know what I mean? So I think the only option is actually not really having personal power-ups, but knowing how to use the others to increase your level.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree, but I still think they do need some type of power, like the lower ones. Maybe not the monster trio. Usopp definitely needs to have a power up. 1000%. That's not debatable for me. I would love it if, like I tell everybody, I would love if he learned the Hikaku sovereignty, or maybe a little mini slingshot Hikaku sovereignty. I do agree, though, for the final battle, we are going to need some like Marvel versus Capcom type of combos from the Straw Hats. That would be brilliant. That would be absolutely brilliant for sure.
Yeah, but But to give your answer, Cody, and I think that's what I think you're alluding to, and I'll say Nami, Sanji, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji actually fit on this. Is I think they still need to learn to act without a doubt. You know what I mean? They still doubt themselves too much, And I think that's what's missing, because I think all three of them could have conquerors in a way, because the way the story is portrayed, they seem to be those ones who have conquerors when they're not supposed to. You know what I mean? Like those people who still believe in their dreams, stuff like that. Like the moment of Nami and Ulti proved me the point, which was crying. But I think they still don't have that switch that Zoro has. That Zoro would gladly die for his ambition. He acts without a doubt.
Yeah, he would.
think,
He wouldn't care.
I want to see Jinbei teach Chopper how to use Fishman karate, so that when Chopper goes kung fu point, he's throwing out.
Ooh, or Nami
know,
too. Nami would be brilliant to learn that.
Actually, Nami would make so much sense. Think about it. If everyone knows the Avatar: The Last Airbender, how Iroh learned to redirect lightning by studying the waterbenders, And you think about it, Nami had his whole thing with Fishman. What if, to be a master of the weather, of the climate, she needs to understand how the masters, they do it themselves. You know what I mean? That could be very.
How they actual work the elementals themselves. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you said, she had that. That'd be like how Jinbei kind of repays her for, how she was always angry at Jinbei and the whole Arlong thing. That could be his way of being like repaying her. That's cool. That's a good one for sure. I didn't think of that.
What if Nami learns Electro?
Wait, what did you
Like
say?
you mean the minks? She learns like electricity, like the minks.
That would be sick.
I thought that was like a race thing, though, or my.
Nami like wore the sacred treasure of the minks. Maybe like there's some like Deus Ex Machina there.
Well, I'm saying like
you know
this.
how the Lunarians are.
If anybody could learn it, it would be Nami.
Yeah,
we can all agree on that. You know what I mean? If anybody can learn electricity powers, it would be Nami.
Yeah,
like what if
Dan, just 2 seconds to answer to Dan's thing. It seems to be race related, but they address early on in the story that fishmen are the only ones who can use fishman karate. Yet Koala has her own version of it. So I think there's a
even Robin knows fisherman karate.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
and like
good call. Yeah,
I think if Nami were to have Electro, it wouldn't be like the Minx one. I think Nami would see the Minx do it, and she'd be like, "Zeus, can you power me up?" And I think that would be like a cool caveat to work around it. Like she uses
like a
Zeus.
overpowered.
Yeah, so that's what I think Nami's power up could be. Josh, you got me fired up. I want Nami
That's
to have
a good
Electro.
one, Josh. That is a good one,
Josh,
man.
why are you not making TikToks? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm
Seriously, man.
I'm actually in my next one. That's crazy.
Actually, what if Tsunami, we could learn how some people like create those own version of Delphin abilities, Because it's true, like what if her interaction with Zeus makes her, because we see Luffy now creating fire with his hockey, with his Delphin. Same thing with Sanji, right? We've seen people create elemental stuff. What we're seeing Tsunami, how it happens,
Yep.
You could explain it. Like her will herself takes the shape of an Electro. So it actually doesn't need to use Zeus anymore, but like Zeus could channel away, but she's able to create her own Electro or Lightning. This also explains why Oda specified that she had the Delphi.
Well, I'll put it like this too. This might be a reach, but I would love if Dr. Vegapunk taught her more about bubbles and the bubble, like the Seastrom bubbles. I would love if he taught her more about that and how to utilize it, because she does have close connections to bubbles in so many facets. Weatheria. Go ahead, Josh, my bad.
We've seen her use the bubble pistol when we came back to Eckhead.
With the Mirage Temple and all that stuff. Like, but I would love if he improved that even more so. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be dope. That way she has a way to combat even stronger Devil Fruit users. I don't know. That'd be cool. What do you guys think about that?
You have to use the bubble technology in Egghead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say something crazy, and I know a lot of Sanji and Zoro fans in the chat are gonna go crazy.
Oh gosh. Get ready, guys.
When Zoro fought against Mihawk, he used like a small knife, right? And Sanji, we know that he doesn't use his hands because he wants
uses
to be
a
able to
gun.
cook, and he's good with a knife, right? And he's really good with a knife. Do you think at one point Sanjay is going to give a pointer to Zoro, or Zoro you know how Zoro looks around him and learns his style like that? Do you think at one point we'll see Zoro doing something and we'll find out that he learned that by watching Sanjay cooking? On the way he cooks, you know?
I would
People
love that. I would love that. I think that's hilarious. I don't see it though.
Oh,
I don't.
shout out to Straw Hat Lucas in the chat. He added Smokey and said she needs a seawater attack for Nami and give Nami some seawater
Ooh.
attacks.
Oh
so
my
she can render devil
lord!
fruit users useless. Shout out to Straw
Oh
Hat
my
Lucas of the last arc. Let's go, goated man's W Lucas
goated
moment.
man.
No, he's
W
a
Luke.
genius. He's a
He is a
genius. Think
genius.
about it. What are the three
The chat
elements that
too.
connect? What's the three elements that connect to weather and storm? Water, electricity, lightning, and air. She already has air and lightning. She doesn't have water.
Mhm.
So one thing missing. So yeah, it's actually quite smart.
She would be OP though. Honestly, she would be just absolutely wild with that. That's a good one, Lucas. L man's. I mean W man's. My bad. W.
And let's
Mans.
guys, and it's also long enough. Frankie, make a major weapon for Usopp. Come on, man.
Thank you.
Don't be stingy. I'm sorry, guys. Like, yeah, but he maybe did no. He's still holding the same weapons he's had since time skip. I'm sorry.
Hey, Kabuto, we Heracles, we don't forget, all right? Our roots are there.
Yeah.
What do you
need
guys think
Frankie.
about him getting like Thor's some type of like giant? Because he's already had that big old giant fake hammer, right? What if he actually gets some type of real Thor's hammer and Elbaf?
Yeah, I've been
And
saying
then
that.
like Frankie does something to it. Yeah, like Frankie does something to it to even overpower it. That's where he could come into play. It's like just how like Usopp upgraded Nami's climb attack. Frankie would be like, look, that's a dope hammer. I could do some stuff with that. And then bam, he just has some crazy like Thor's hammers, electricity hammers.
But if you think about all the times he's stricken fear just with like it saying it was a big heavy hammer and then him actually having a big heavy hammer, like that would do it so much for me.
Yeah.
But Smokey, hear me out. What if in Egghead we've seen all this light technology creating illusion? What if Frankie learns that, and of all people, he creates a weapon for Sanji for Usopp to create light like beam stuff, but he can also use it to create illusions. Think about it.
Like holograms
Usopp,
and stuff like that.
Yeah. Usopp, who's a liar with all his lies. What if he creates something for him? Because I always say that the light thing could be so interesting with Usopp. If you had a weapon based off light, a slingshot that he shoots and a beam of light comes out with it,
Yeah, that is crazy. That is absolutely, yeah. I could see that he's already kind of done that already in the past when he's like made enemies think there's many people behind him, like in the bushes or whatever, when he's fighting Shu. So like that'd be pretty cool. I would love that. I really want him to have an actual weapon that like does damage. You know what I mean? I want Elbaf. I don't want him to be the next part of the monster trio or anything like that, but I want him to like get a step and like get stronger, man. None of this cowardly stuff, none of this hiding around. Like I think I want to see him like start to become what he wants to be, and that's a brave warrior. See if he could do that, if he has a dope weapon, you know what I mean, that does an actual damage, especially if they teach him the Hakaku sovereignty, like a mini slingshot, or even like a rubber band of doom, like an ultra rubber band of doom. Woo! I'm getting sauced up right now, yo. Getting sauced up.
That's why I think I do think a Vegapunk didn't show the threshold of all the light, because in the world of One Piece with light you can do so many different things. One Piece is so crazy, and I'm wondering there's some stuff we didn't see that Frankie might think of, and actually it would fit Usopp with illusion, those kind of stuff. Like because we've seen it. Sometimes when he shoots his stuff, it takes certain shapes. His attacks, they create elements out of nowhere. Imagine what he could do with light, something that could imitate, illusions. Imagine he creates a fake image of Sogeking as he shoots. Sogeking running at the person. It could be something that dumb, because everything's based off desire. But anyway, sorry.
Well, going back to the whole Frankie thing, like we all know Elbaf is like the island where they're known to have like these crazy weapons, right? Usopp is the weapon specialist, and Frankie, like he is like the Dr. Vegapunk of the Straw Hats. You know what I mean? He is the wise guy. He's the mad scientist. So yeah, going back to the whole Frankie thing, like he definitely needs maybe not a whole arc, but like a few chapters where he is doing his thing and he's upgrading the Straw Hats, maybe Usopp or Nami. You know what I mean? I would like he needs that. He needs his due. He needs that justice because I feel like Oda is kind of like forgetting on him, like putting him in the back burner, maybe for a reason. I don't know. So yeah, I could see that. I definitely would absolutely love that if like he just stepped up and like upgraded them somehow. That'd be dope.
Who'd
Yeah.
we lose? Oh,
I think it
We
was
lost Dan.
Dan.
He said he had to hop out, but he didn't want to interrupt the cooking.
no, that's fine. We get your final head cannon pieces out of the way, and I
Yeah.
think we're getting into that,
Oh my
getting towards
gosh.
the end.
You who's not even current calling our stuff headcanon, get out of here.
Yeah.
Go back to
Yeah.
Dressrosa.
You don't even know who Dr. Vegapunk
Tell me about the
is.
jacket fruit.
Bro, I mean, you would
Tell
probably
me
put
how
it
you-
on. I mean,
Tell me how you
Oh,
jacket.
you'd probably put it on, bro.
Tell me how you jacket. I
But,
I don't put it on. I ride fruit. Call me bluegrass.
Yes. Yes.
However,
Oh,
before
you're
that,
talking
you know
about
what?
mini? You're talking about mini Dr. Kareha?
Yeah, little baddie.
The baddie.
Oh,
But
She down
Joshua,
with it.
because since you're working on that crazy Chopper theory, do you have an idea on what it could be led for improvement for Chopper?
Be what for Chopper?
Yeah, like what's to be improved for Chopper, since you're a Chopper
His
expert.
upgrade.
Yeah, I mean it has to be the awakening and also his the strongest form, a Lunarian.
A Lunarian Rumble Ball? Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, I mean I said before, every form of Chopper resembles one of the races in One Piece.
Oh my gosh, like a fishman, that'd be beautiful. Would he have a giant though? Would he have a giant race? That's a beautiful.
No, I mean Kung Fu. Yeah, Kung Fu Point
Yeah, the
is
Wendigo,
the
right?
fish.
Monster.
Yeah, Monster Point is giant, Kung Fu Point is fishman. Every
Right.
form resembles one of the species, and I think the awakened form is gonna resemble a Lunarian.
So he's gonna have like a flame or something. Ooh, Josh, you're cooking right now, bro. You're cooking.
Yeah, it's honestly, Cody, you really made me think about this whole Buccaneer thing a lot.
Oh,
Because I'm really
Blackbeard.
Yeah, no, even Blackbeard. Now that I thought it confirms to me it could be the same thing as Elbaf and the Giants. We know that there are giants in Elbaf, but we also know from Soul that they don't all come from Elbaf. It could be that the group, the tribe of the Buccaneer that they were part of, they were the last of their kind, and they could be like somewhere else in the world where there were other Buccaneers, and Josie was from there.
or like as like the giants that split off to make the Buccaneers in the same way those group of samurai headed from Wano. What if like they all broken up across the sea? And so there's different kinds of Buccaneers out there.
Like Oars. You think Oars could have been one? That his species?
But he's
Probably a
different.
progenitor.
Yeah, he's something different.
Yeah, remember that the way they said it, that they're what they were like ancient. There was something about them being giants. They were still
Ancient giants, continent pullers.
Think about this, right? What if there were two types of giants? Like we see there are different types of sky islands. Like there are two types of sky people: the Lunarians with their black wings and the one with the white wings. What if you're ready? There are two types of giants: the Onis and the giants. And from there were human-like races that followed them: Buccaneers and the race of Kaido. That would explain why Kaido was obsessed with the Oni Kushima and Princess. Because I said to people, Oda still didn't give an Oda box of Kaido's race. Everything about him seems to be praising the Oni race, but never said that he's an Oni. He called his daughter the Oni princess, and then called his place like Onigashima that connects to the Momotaro stories. But he never said like I'm a proud Oni. He never you know what I mean? And he took like half a page, not even half a page, to explain Pudding's tribe and Whole Cake. You know what I mean? But don't take for Kaido. So it could be that, And
you guys
Kaido
know
is
about
also...
the Nephilim in like the Bible, all the Nephilim stories about giants and all that stuff. I think that's what Oda's referencing. Is that the Nephilim, real life story. A lot of ancient aliens.
I'm
The Nephilim?
Yeah, I'm good to research.
The Nephilim is
They had them in
you hear about the
Supernatural.
Nephilim. You hear them like throughout mythology of like stories of giants, right? But the Nephilim are basically in the Bible. They're giants that mated with humans, right? And like so many depictions of them. They were angels. Some of them were like demons. It's like crazy stuff, like with giants. And throughout all of history, you see tales of certain giants or whatever intermingling with humans and making these crossbreeds. And that's what could have been. That's what like a lot of races could be, or like just crossbreeds of Nephilim and humans, or so on and so forth. Buccaneer blood, maybe like we talked about Puma's mom being an actual human. It would
The
make a lot of sense.
the mix of immortals and impures.
Right, and you get these crossbreeds. Same thing with like gods and demigods throughout Greek mythology.
Or
You know what I mean?
Celestial Dragon.
And why they're
Right,
eradicating everything because they find it disturbing and gross.
right.
Think about it is logical actually. The way they talk about the story about the rest of the world, it wouldn't make sense that they would be appalled. I'm gonna go deep on it. It's like over 100 years ago when there was also a black woman with a white man or a white man with a black woman. How people would react of that situation. It could be something very similar, but 800 years ago, they were like it could be that the D clan didn't just loved everyone, and the Cecil Dragons were more conservative. They wanted to keep stuff on your own lane, and that could have basically be the start of the whole what's called the start of the whole pre-Void Century Wars.
Lucas in the chat. So the Nephilim were sometimes known as fallen ones, but the word actually is translated to giants. But what could have been how they say misconception or something is because they were known to be just very tall and strong. So it might not necessarily mean that they were all giants, but that's what a lot of throughout mythology, that's kind of what they're associated with. So I don't know, but they're definitely known as the fallen ones or fallen angels or some sort. There's so many different mythologies throughout, with giants. So it's kind of mixed. But yeah, go on, Cube.
No. It's nice, but yeah. So now I'm wondering if and Cody, you made me think of it. So if I ever do a video, I'm gonna credit you for sure. But yeah, I'm starting to think that there's two races, and it could be that the Onis were known to be durable, and the Buccaneers were known to be physical. You know what I mean?
Right. Just like the Lunarians, right, in their durability, I guess you could say. Like just special traits these races have amongst them. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It would explain if you think about Ors and Ors Junior as well. They were shown to be durable, not physically stronger.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the ancient giants are giants and Oni hybrid. By breeding them together, they just get colossal.
That's interesting. Yeah, it would make sense. Anyways, I'm so wondering how they are able to do human and giant hybrids. I'm so shocked by that statement. By that, I want to know the science behind
like not only that, but like
I mean,
the Anunnaki.
Big Mom has a child on Tata. Think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, she does.
Love
Right.
finds a way.
Elephant in the room. Elephant in the
farming.
room. We've all ignored it, but I'm surprised we ignored it with how much we've brought him up. What the fuck is Blackbeard ships doing on the coast of the island? And
oh my god, nobody ever like brings this up, man. You're just like, when is this coming into play? Who's arriving?
Oda also pull back like several times to show us the coast and like how many Navy ships are there. Nowhere in sight. I have peeled through those fucking panels.
Oh, I have too.
Cannot find them. Where
the
are
little
Blackbeard ships? Where is the rafts? Yes,
right.
Smokey, you get it. But like Otis pulled back, especially with Saturn saying, "I'd love to see you escape this," and then he pulled back the camera again for us to see the ships. No Blackbeard ships, not even Doctor, anything. I'm getting stir crazy. What is he cooking?
The point is, their ships are rafts. They can always be rebuilt and destroyed. I think they got on the island and destroyed the ship to have no evidence.
Yeah, that's fire.
So you're saying, Joshy, that before this barricade happened, they showed up, or you think they beat the barricade, landed on the island, and they're somewhere in the island?
They arrived before the barricade, and they are now on the
Right.
stratosphere.
Right. Okay. Okay. That would make way more sense to them ducking off on the coast, like with all the other ships, because they would have spotted them. They're like, "What the hell are those Blackbeard pirates right there off in the thing?"
Yeah, like the
that's great.
samurai sink the ships before Onigashima.
Yeah. That is true. That's probably why, because everybody's always asking, like, why these guys are like, they have Sanwa and Wolf. Why are they chilling on Rast? Like, what? That is a good like theory, bro. That is wild. I didn't think of that. That is crazy.
I mean, if you're looking for the Blackbeard pirates, if they're always on one person, you have to look at the one ship around an area that has not a ship but a person from far away. You become a target from afar. Don't forget that there's a world government threat. Even though other pirates won't go after them, they could a buster call. I don't think Sam can defend it. But Cody, I actually was saying a while ago that I feel like Oda wanted to tease us about the Blackbeard, but we weren't ready in the story. And I'm wondering if we need to get a God Valley flashback for it to make sense.
What do you mean?
Rox.
Explain.
Rox is the main perpetrator. Who is the one person that seems to connect to Rox? Blackbeard. What if we need to learn this story of Rox to be able to understand like maybe this could be the last mystery about Blackbeard and we understand his full headcanon, what his true plan is, This could be the last step. I think
I had this other theory that I was like, maybe Caribou is in cahoots with Blackbeard. And
not bastard.
In some way, shape, or form, that Katarina Devon is going to replace Robin on the crew and wait for the right moment to strike and get the last Poneglyph. And they're going to have Robin back on Hachinosu with Blackbeard. And I don't want that to be right because that would be icky. I don't want
to see her get kidnapped again. It's icky, bro. That's an icky. That's an icky theory, Cody. I don't like that.
You want to know something? Cody,
it is fire.
There's a pattern. There's a pattern. Think about it. The last two people who showed in the Straw Hat side to show an interest on poneglyphs is Law and Robin, and they were together. And then Pudding is taken. Then what happens? Law is defeated by Blackbeard. There's a pattern, That meaning that Robin is the last person in that room that were all about poneglyphs. So, and they said that he was planning to come to Wano, but what if instead he's getting the information to him? You know what I mean? It would be a Blackbeard way opportunist. Why should I go to Wano and so hectic? I'll just have the information come to me.
So you guys think that's why he's going to Egghead? Is Robin? Is the main reason is Robin and stuff?
I think he was always going to go to Egghead. The reason why he didn't go to Wano, the reason why he didn't go to Wano is I think Kuzan put Pudding in his mind. Think about it. Kuzan is the one who gets. We know he's very protective of Robin, and he's the one who purposely gets Pudding to be sure to have her. I'm wondering if the Robin was always a plan, but Kuzan found another scapegoat. Pudding.
Okay. So what are they going to do with Pudding? Do you think that they're showing up to Egghead with Pudding?
No, I think Blackbeard. I don't think this farce could work so long because we know Pudding. Even Big Mom said she's not able to awaken her third eye. She can't read poneglyphs yet. So Kaido said we'll have to wait. They even said they'll have to wait. So it would make sense that he's not finding a different. But I think Pudding would make a perfect sense. Special tribe, he was hinted at. Yeah. And if he is either Sword or Revolution Army, we've seen it. Sword Revolution Army right now are destabilizing the Yonkos. He literally had another Yonko go after a former Yonko's territory. That's literally a Sword or revolutionary move from Kuzan if he did that. Having Blackbeard making moves that might, danger him. But yeah.
I think I didn't think about the whole Robin thing. I thought that it was all far gone. Like nobody's gonna try to kidnap Robin again. We're not gonna go through that again. But I honestly thought the reason why they're going to Egghead was for two reasons: either to steal Kizaru's fruit or to steal Saint J. Garcia's fruit. I don't know. I always thought like these guys are gonna try to kill one of them. Right, they're gonna death of a Gorosei, and I think maybe Luffy's crew might get blamed for it. You know what I mean? Even putting even a bigger target on their back, because like we already know Saint J has his powers are wild already, right? With that, what does 3-Day call it? The Wi-Fi hockey or whatever. The Wi-Fi hockey one-shotting Marines. His regeneration ability. If he does have a devil fruit, I think the one person that would know that is Blackbeard, because he seems to have like information. He seems like to have like just crazy information that nobody has in the One Piece world, maybe other than like Shanks or the Gorosei or something like that, right? So I think, but to throw back that Robin theory would be wild. I definitely don't want to see that, because it, like Cody said, is real icky, and you can't touch my baby girl Robin. I will riot.
Me
But
too. Oh my God, is that
that's a
Straw
good one.
Hat Ryan?
So guys, just I want you all to welcome the helmsmith
Take that.
himself, Big Daddy Lucas, Straw Hat Lucas,
Straw Hat
the legend
Ryan.
himself.
Yes, sir. Listen, I just wanted to come on here and say I called this with Kuma's race. Literally last week, I was in a voice chat and said that he was either a mix between human and Lunarian or human and giant. And yeah, your boy was right. That's a dub.
Yeah.
That's a dub,
Yeah.
baby. But no, you guys have been cooking this whole time. What's the current topic?
Why
Robin.
Blackbeard showing up to Egghead, basically? Why?
Oh, he's coming to
Blackbeard
kidnap
and
Robin.
Kuma.
Yeah.
Blackbeard and Kuma ties. Let's go, Blackbeard Kuma race.
Yeah,
Blackbeard Kuma.
I want to
Wait, hold on, Straw. You think he's gonna kidnap Robin too? You're on that agenda as well?
Yeah, I think that
Well,
Pudding's
try,
not
I guess.
working out. Yeah, he's gonna try to. I think Pudding's not working out because she hasn't had the awakening of her, and he can't force an awakening out of her. So he's gonna go with Plan B, which is to kidnap Robin because he knows that she can read poneglyphs. But that is, we don't know if Blackbeard can read the poneglyphs or not, because Oda has stated that if he was not a pirate, he would be an archaeologist.
Yeah.
It's true.
Very true. Very, very true.
Cody,
Very true. And he wouldn't tell people that. If he knew how to do it, he wouldn't tell people.
True.
Yeah. So Lucas, since you have this, you did bring it up last week, and so I don't know if you heard it, but well, Cody agrees with me, but we're pretty sure as well that Jozu might be a Buccaneer. If you look at him from the Whitebeard Pirates, think
Yeah,
about
here,
it. The
I'll
same
pull
broad
it up
shoulders,
again.
and he
I'm pulling it up
carried
on camera.
that fucking iceberg like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And he's around the same age as Kuma. He's around the same age
When
as
you
Kuma.
look at this. This is volume 96 with all the Roger pirates and Odin's flashback.
Look at him.
There is Jozu.
Look at his face shape too. Oda
Yeah.
is very, very particular about face shapes.
Yeah. And facial features
What the
as
fuck,
well.
lady?
Very.
What the fuck, lady?
And think about it. It makes sense that a Buccaneer would be.
Sorry, I'm
think
in a
about it.
car and I just almost crashed. My bad.
Yeah. And but think about it. You know how they talk about their
Get
food
off the phone,
usually.
bro.
Remember how they say some
No,
of their
someone
food
pulled out
users?
in front of me.
Imagine remember when they said their food abilities? Some of them, they're so compatible. It seems like they're intertwined with the wills. Think about it. A
Yes.
Buccaneer
Yeah.
will know to be much physical stronger. It's compatible was the most strongest earth substance in the One Piece world, diamond. It would make sense actually that a Buccaneer would be compatible because their body's already very strong. It represents it, strength.
I've always said that too. I've always said like devil fruits like attract and retract each other. Like I'm pretty sure Blackbeard and Luffy's fruit do this too, where like they're somewhat like magnetic towards each other, but then they also repel each other in certain ways. I don't know, like polar opposites. So yeah, that's a good one. I love that concept.
Like
a lot.
opposites attract kind of thing. Like the
Right,
lights
and then
attract
vice
the dark.
Right, like we all know, like everywhere, not everywhere, but there's certain places that Luffy's been that Blackbeard was either there before or thereafter, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Like these fruits are actually talking to each other, playing games with each other in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a good one.
And if you look at the Odin and Whitebeard flashback before Izo joins, just so you know, if you look at all the initial crew members, they look all around the same age group as Jozu and Vista.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot when they were defeated at God Valley, knowing Big Mom and Whitebeard, I think some of them could have gone from God Valley.
Yeah, took him in. I could definitely see Whitebeard saving these children. Like, okay, this is your family now. Same thing with the Kaido and King, right? Where he was like, hey, I'm gonna take you under my wing, you know what I mean? And he even gave him his nickname. So like, yeah, I definitely could see that. Cool. That'd be beautiful,
So-
like real beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I have a question for everybody. Because me and Cube talked about this earlier. I don't know if it's been brought up on the stream. I have been listening, but I've had to stop here and there because I was at work. When you guys first saw God Valley, what came to mind?
Egghead.
Egghead?
Egghead. I just was talking to Cube about it. Egghead for me. Even
the
Billy posted.
The mountain of God Valley looks like it has been cutting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought of Thriller Bark, but then I thought about Dressrosa. For some reason, something about Dressrosa and God Valley mirror each other.
Well, yeah, Cube has been talking about this too. The Cube, you're on some Cube agenda, baby. I love it. I love a good Cube agenda, baby.
Listen, like I said,
Cube have a very similar train of thought when it comes to things like this.
Yeah. And also, like I said, my Garp is Rocks theory. Even if at the end, I still believe that Garp is actually Rocks. But if you look at that video, we brought up TLA, brought up also Dressrosa parallel, so it's already a W. Regardless of if I'm wrong at the end of the day or not.
You have been cooking these last couple of chapters. I'm not gonna lie, man.
But Lucas, I did bring up this idea that, but I didn't add the idea of what I told you about what if Marineford and Thriller Bark were once one together, and that hole, that crescent hole, it could be the because they did explain that the outer side of Thriller was created.
OMG,
Yeah,
did you guys see who entered the chat? Shout out to Vexus, the lurking legend. Oh my god.
He's lurking in the chat?
He's twerking in the chat. He's cooking in the chat.
Twerking.
He's girthing. He's
girthing.
He's the girthing.
He's birthing.
Yeah, he's what a god.
But Lucas, we were talking about. Did you hear about our Dressrosa parallels about imagine if Devil Fruit for a price, and we might have found a good candidate.
Coliseum. The Coliseum.
Yeah, like the Coliseum. What if you're ready?
The other tournament arc.
We know that there were Shichibukai. I'm pretty sure all the 7 Shichibukai would be there as kids. At least most of them. Hancock not there because she wouldn't be born. But I think like 6 of the 7 at least would be there. They're around the same age. And only Mihawk would be very young. But Roger Pirates with Mihawk. I still believe that he's Rayleigh's son, regardless. So we were wondering like, what if one of the Shichibukai's Devil Fruit actually would be one of the prizes? And there's actually one because I looked in panels. When Crocodile is introduced in Dressrosa in Alabasta and he saves people, the first thing that people call him is the hero. What if the Suna? What do you think about that? The Suna being the prize of God Valley.
Ooh, I like that. Who do you guys think the hero of God Valley is? Because I don't think it's Garp. I think it's Rocks. I think the God Valley instant is going to be the Rocks pirates coming there to free the
save
slaves.
them. Yeah, right, and taking them as taking the children into their each of their crews. You know what I mean? Yeah. Katakuri could have been there, Parasparrow could have been there, and so on and so forth. I think that a lot.
I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but didn't Katakuri confirm that he was at God Valley?
No, he never confirmed actually. But we know he came from somewhere very dark. But everyone knows that he had to be God Valley because of his hockey level. Because of his hockey level.
Yeah, there's things that are implied. Yeah, like what Cube said. There's things that are implied, and all these strong hockey users, they could have been plugged into this God Valley. They could have been there, like what Cube said, with the powerful hockey. You know what I mean? Like it's very similar.
So you know how I'm a big headcanon, and I actually have something because you're right about this whole Rocks being the I still believe Garp is the Rocks the same person, but I actually have something very interesting and I thought of it, and I did a research. Do you know what the Marines they do? They fight against hostility, right? They resist for the people. Do you know what else in Origin does the same thing, but they fight against political corruption as well? Freedom fighters. What if the freedom fighters? Rebellion. What if back in the day the freedom fighters was certain Marines that would actually oppose the world government, and that was what Rocks was. Because don't forget, Rocks Marine Corps is a Korean statement for Marines that would work with pirates who don't do murders to stop the murderous pirates on sea. Which, interesting enough, their logo is a yellow dog, and their slogan is "Once a Marine, always a Marine."
Always a Marine. Yeah. Garp.
Weird parallel there with the Buccaneers, because in our reality, Buccaneers were actually pirates paid by the magistrate to hunt down other pirates. They were basically paid to,
they're anti-pirate. They're like Zorro, like anti-pirate pirates in a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like Luffy.
Yeah.
In the original Romance Dawn, Luffy was considered, I think, because there was two types of pirates. I can't remember what the other one was, but the one that Luffy was trying to be was a buccaneer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Morgan. No. It's wait. It was the Peace Main and what the Morganeers, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, the Morganeers were the opposition, which is interesting. But yeah, like I'm wondering if with Xebex, let's say Garp is rocks, right? But there was something very specific because I still believe that the Marines and the world government only started to work together close to 30 years ago because they never talked with them together over 30 years. They're individual stuff every time. Either talk world government, either they talk about Marines. And I'm wondering if it was two different factions and they found a way to get them in line, the Marines. And they found a way by getting people like Rocks, the like people like Rob Luccio, who's who, the curious one, the alphas of the group to fall
The
in
ones
line.
that think differently. Yeah, they seem to think differently and oppose the ideologies that are opposed, like that are pressed upon them. They have a different way of thinking. You know what I mean?
And I think that could be the reason why there's so few bounty hunters, and also maybe there's why Smoker is a Marine of all things. What if Smoker, the reason why he joined the Marines is because, think about it, he looked at a captured pirate king, not as a powerful pirate king, as a captured one. What if that faction of it connects to all of it? Like people like Garp inspired Smoker to join the Marines, but maybe, you know what I mean? But they're World Gov affiliated. But what if actually the best world for them is Marines, but not World Government affiliated. But you get those powerful people, so you want to join them regardless. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's hard to make me think like that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense too. Like your whole theory about Kong actually starting, being, the man behind the curtains, fabricating all of this, and maybe that's why he did it. That's why he's like highly influential on Garp and his decisions too. He's like knows his backstory. He's like, okay, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. Because like Oda keeps on telling us, like, you can't destroy somebody's will. When they have a will of something, like something is like it's very, how do you say, it transcends whatever is going on in the real world. We see it with a lot of things. We see it with just like this ancient robot waking up, right? Like the same moment, like in the same chapter, the Vega Force 1 gets sliced in half, the robot of dreams, the robot of wills, or however you want to translate it, freaking ancient robot wakes up. Like, I don't know, it's crazy. So like, if this is true, if Rox is Garp seems to do a lot of certain stuff that like opposes the world government and opposes the Marines directly, So yeah, that's some deep stuff right there with Garp. You know what I mean? Some super deep stuff.
Also, to give some credence to your freedom fighter take, Cube.
Yeah.
If the freedom fighters were a sect of Marines, that would be like the predecessor to Sword.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Exactly.
And you ready for this?
I was thinking of Sword.
And you know how I thought of this, Lucas? And it's so stupid. God Valley seems to parallel Marineford with Whitebeard. What happened afterwards? When Whitebeard is defeated and gone, the second in command becomes the leader, Marco. What if Dragon is, if Garp is rock, so Dragon, who looks a lot like that image of Kaido's image of Xebex in Wano. They look very similar. What if it's the same thing parallel? Dragon represents Marco. He inherits the leadership of the freedom fighters. He's the one who's left standing among them.
That's why he's the #1 world's most wanted criminal. That is awesome.
Well, he definitely, even though you and we've talked about it several times, I'm not necessarily on board with your Garps is Rock's theory, but I do agree that Dragon has definitely inherited Rox's will. I think we're going to see Marine Dragon at God Valley in the next few chapters at 17 years old, a fresh cadet, and we're going to see the Rocks Pirates incident as well, and we're going to see how Dragon ended up inheriting his will.
Like, it changed him. Whatever happened there, it changed him, and he went the other way.
Yeah.
We might even see Luffy wouldn't be born yet. I was about to say we might even see Luffy's mother, but I think we will.
Well, I mean, it could be the whole thing with Kuma. Like, we could see his mom, but they probably weren't together yet. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks Jenny might be Bonnie's mom. You know
Yeah,
what I
I'm
mean?
100% sold that she's Bonnie's mom. At first, I thought with the meat, it might be a younger version of Luffy's mother. But once I really looked at her, I was like, that's definitely Bonnie's mama. Like, and
I
plus
could
her
see
and Kuma's
Bonnie's mom. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Lucas.
No, you go, brother.
I was going to say before you. I could definitely see. To me, it's the number one option is Bonnie's mom, or I could see her being some type of like the reason why Dr. Vegapunk modeled Atlas after her or whatever. It could be even all of them. It could be like that was Bonnie's mom, and then and because of Vegapunk and his connections to Kuma and all that, like he modeled the satellites after her. At least Atlas and York, because of the freckles. The freckles get me the most. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
the cheeks and the freckles are definitely York, man. Definitely York.
And we've seen Bonnie. Like Not this gonna sound bad. We've seen her gobbling up that meat a couple chapters ago. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one of my favorite chapters. By the way, I'm just saying. All right,
So,
continue.
and to add on the freedom fighter stuff, the more I was reading about it, and when you read the SBS about Akainu's backstory, I'm wondering if Akainu started his life as a Marine as a freedom fighter as well.
Ooh.
Yeesh.
You know what I mean? Like basically, he would
fighter.
be. And think about it: Dragon evolves to a higher level, and then Akainu is the fallen one. You know what I mean? Because they say that because of what pirates did, he created absolute justice. What if it's pre-absolute justice? Akainu, we'll see.
I think that's entirely possible, brother. I don't think that he was a freedom fighter. I think him and Dragon, and I think this is a popular theory, were very close, and they joined the Marines together. And when they saw what Rox did, they both were affected so tremendously. But Dragon went in the way of, I'm going to start the revolutionaries or the freedom fighters, and I kind of went in the way of, I'm going to bring about absolute justice so this doesn't happen again.
Absolute justice.
For justice! For the Marines!
Think of this right now. We have two people who joined the Marines on the same time, Kobe and El Nepo.
Yes.
El Nepo's father gives the vibe of absolute justice with his crazy fascist state in Shelltown. And you have Kobe, who's not being called the hero. That's how I'm starting to think, like, what
He's
if
naive, justice.
They were
like
very close, but they parted ways because they couldn't see eye to eye anymore. They had different ideals of the world.
Yeah.
You know, which I would see. Yeah, it would make sense.
Yikes, man!
Yeah,
Yikes. Well, dude, that's wild. That is actually wild. Because we all know Garp's form of justice is like purely logical, right? And then, maybe he had a counterpart to that where it was.
You want to know something? It was stated by Oda's team. Garp is the only one right now who said the only Marine that hasn't stated his own sense of justice is.
I think Garp is like true justice.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like true justice.
Yeah.
Like
I think it's like logical, like where it's.
Yeah, like logical justice almost. Like if he saw someone stealing bread, he's not going to arrest that person because they're obviously just hungry. Kind of justice.
Right.
Like they're not a criminal. They're just, a victim of the system.
Or like if it's like 10 people in a burning building, you know what I mean? And you could save 8, and then 2 of them are old. You're only going to go after the kids or whatever. Like the future, right? Like whatever's the most logical. Yeah, so and then it makes sense that he would have somebody like that opposes his thinking, kind of just like Kobe and Helmeppo. The Kobe and Helmeppo story kind of like a microcosm of the story.
Akainu's almost a perfect opposite of Garp. Like Garp, that absolute justice is vicious, man. Like look at the O'Hara incident, for example. Those people could have left that island and been fine. They were just citizens. They weren't even scholars. They were just citizens. And what did he say? We can't let any of them escape because they are all guilty by association, basically. And he murdered them, killed them in cold blood. Unalived them in cold blood. Sorry, YouTube censors.
I still believe that O'Hara was a came. And the more I think about it, what if, you ready? There were a lot of slaves in God Valley. What if a lot of them were just refugees from the events of God Valley? Because you're right. They say that just them being alive was a crime. What if
Yeah.
because of them escaping God Valley, they're basically fated to die? No, you can't leave, because they said God Valley was this thing where they had to get everyone gone. You know what I mean? It could be them just finishing a mission, finishing a chapter.
I mean, that's
So,
probably why they hunted the natives in this recent chapter. That's probably why they were like, okay, let's make
that's
a
what I'm
fun
about to
game.
bring up. I want to know everybody's opinion on this, but I'm going to target Cody to answer first, just because I haven't heard his voice in a minute. What crime do you guys think the Buccaneers committed to result in their extermination?
I think
Go
they
ahead,
killed a
Cody.
celestial dragon.
Ooh, I like that.
Next. I want to hear everybody's. That's a good question, Bill.
Because I'm leaning towards they helped Joy Boy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I think I think they were one of the ones that helped scatter the poneglyphs. That's the immediate thought I had when I read it. They were strong. Yes. They probably could have cared. Like we all know, like Oars, right? The continent puller, right? Another giant, maybe a Oni giant, whatever. I think they were the ones that helped. I don't think this was a one-person thing. I think this was like the scattering of the poneglyphs and messing up Emu's plan was a multifaceted like a plan, right? Multi-races. Yeah. That's probably why they were exterminated. Who knows? It's like, okay, that's punishment. We're gonna wipe out your whole. We're gonna wipe out your name. We're gonna wipe out your whole race. We're gonna destroy you from history. That's the first thing that came up in mind. I don't know.
Yeah, because how do you cover up the Void Century entirely? You wipe out every race that was involved in the rebellion against Emu. The Lunarians, the Buccaneers. Yeah. Who knows what other races? Maybe those mushroom guys that we saw in Big Mom's book.
I'll give you another one.
What's his name from Fishman Island? Vanderdecken the 10th is a mushroom. The Parvision.
Oh yeah, 100% sold on that theory. 100% sold on it.
The mushroom race, we're gonna see it.
Even listen, I'll even throw a spice one out.
Just to answer to the Buccaneer question, you ready? Yes. And I think I know what is the crime. The fact that, and I do believe the Buccaneers were the first one singing Big Sake, because of the connection with the ship meat on the ship. The way Big Sake is. I think the Buccaneers were the first on the D-Clan side to actually go and fight. Think about it. It connects to piracy. What if they're actually, because we know that the world government labels from the Kuja tribes, they explained it. They label anyone a pirate that does not follow through the world government. And to have like that immunity, they had to be labeled as pirates. I think the Buccaneers were labeled the first pirates because they were the first to actually listen more on the Joy Boys side and the D-Clan than the world government. They were the first to oppose.
Let me add to that, because me and Denon have a theory. I don't know, Lucas, you've heard this before. What you said, Cube, hints on it. I agree 1,000%. I think they were the first actual living creatures on the planet to sing Bing Sake. I do think the Bing Sake, though, did come from whales. I really do. I think they were part of, remember I said this plan to scatter the whole poneglyphs? I think the whale that you see on Zoe, I think that's an exterminated species as well. I really do, and I think that was a statue that the giants built on this island or something like that, or even preserved this last whale in this stone. But I do think Bing Sake came from whales, and I do think these whales were part of this plan to mess up the world government somehow. I don't know.
And you know how the main point of Bing Sake is about the song of people who were together but had to part ways?
Right.
Who was the one that parted the Straw Hats apart?
Kuma.
Exactly.
Buccaneer.
Yeah, Buccaneer. That's I think they're behind the Bing Sake song. I think they're the ones who start even singing it all the time. It would make sense.
Well, it's clear that the Buccaneers as a people worshipped Mika. From what his father said in this chapter, he definitely were the original, in my opinion, were probably the original race to worship the sun god Mika.
Yeah. That's brilliant stuff, man. So more giant references. That's awesome.
I have a question.
Which
how music? Oh, sorry. Go, Lucas. I'll ask the question afterwards.
Lucas.
Lucas?
What was
I
that?
don't know if I was. Yeah, I said no. I said go first. I'll go after you.
I can't even remember what I was going to say. My phone messed up for a second.
Yeah. No worries.
You got E-mood. That boy got
so-
E-mood. His thoughts got you raged.
So and I actually would like to hear Lucas's thought on this, but now I was thinking about it. Do you know how music is important in One Piece, right? It has this whole thing. Do you
Yes,
think that the
one of the
Celestial
most
Dragons
Yeah.
are taught not to listen to music, to hate music? Because that reaction was extreme, even for Celestial Dragon.
Shot him.
One bullet to the head immediately the moment he
Bam.
started singing.
So I have
No.
a question because I might have interpreted that panel wrong. Did he shoot Kuma's father in that moment?
Yep.
He shot him. Shot him.
Bullet
He
in the
shot him
head.
down.
Yeah,
Don't
bullet
forget
in
the
the
K
head.
word though, you guys. Watch out for the K word.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, but yeah, he used the blicky on that boy, man. He popped him down.
He clapped.
Yeah, he clapped, bro. That's what I'm saying though. That whole like, the whole whale thing, right? Like we know whales sting.
Yeah.
That's how they communicate. And the whale force is on what? A giant elephant, right? Like what? And we know Zunisha was some pet, like a companion, right? So it's like, what if she's a companion to these giants or whatever? Like there's so many connections with giants. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Like it has to be one of the most important factors in One Piece. The whole concept of giants themselves is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Well, so is his father's name Clap or is his mother's name Clap?
What I read is
on the clap.
Oh
I think they
no!
just clapped.
Oh no! Whoop clap! Somebody gave him the whoop clap. His whoop slap and then whoop clap, baby.
Whoop slap at God Valley confirmed. We're only proving my theory.
Yeah, and I'm now gonna say it
You're a
again.
go for that.
I think there's more about the biological. To this day, I'm now saying it. There's a weird thing. It's the other biological muscle that we hear about dying, but we don't see actually her dead corpse. The only one we saw of her dead corpse, like post-death, is Belmir, who is not Nami's biological mother. I think there's a twist to it. There's more to the story.
I know that we're gonna see the Red Nose tribe on this island fighting.
I
We're
think
gonna
so
see
too.
Buggy's parents. It's gonna happen.
I think so too. I think Buggy's will be a baby that Roger takes home from God Valley, just like Shanks.
Just like Shanks. Yep, I said that. I was like, Buggy could have been there. He was probably there.
Yeah. Well,
probably there.
That means that his tribe, whatever the Red Nose tribe is, probably also an association to Joy Boy.
But
Which
think about
makes
this.
Buggy infinitely more important to the story. I mean, he's already going to be Pirate King, but like infinitely.
Yeah.
Well, Buggy's always joyous. He's literally a clown made to make people laugh. Like he's made to make people smile. Like a Buggy D clown. Like it's.
Right. Yeah, I think that Buggy is the savior before the dawn, like the moon god.
So I might have a different name. I might have a different name for the tribe. What if instead of the Red Nose tribe, what if it's gonna be the Weird Face tribes? A tribe that has people like Buggy, Katakuri, Perispero, because those are they're specific
deformities
that have just deformities in their visuals. Because Buggy, yes, it's true, but it could be that it's just a spectrum. Maybe some have weird eyes, some have weird ears. You know.
Some of them have pelican mouths, like Katakuri.
Cube.
Well,
does the third eye? Does the third eye tribe fall into this category? I wanted to ask you.
Possibly.
Okay.
But Katakuri, he only has the pelican mouth because he shoved his mouth too full of donuts.
That doesn't explain the teeth.
Yes, it doesn't say the teeth. The teeth is just a weird thing.
He's a shark man, probably. He's a shark man.
He has the teeth so he can better chomp donuts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Call that an ace in the hole or hole in the ace. How do you say it?
Oh no, not with the disrespect. Oh, here donut. I'm like, ace. I see a bagel.
Every time I eat a donut, I cry now.
Yeah, me too.
I don't. I get them with Bavarian cream, like a sophisticated donut eater.
I get it with
You like?
I get it with lava chocolate.
Yikes.
Get it?
A
What do
true
you get on
cultured
your
man.
donut?
But I have a question now,
I
guys.
get sprinkles. I'm a
What if
sprinkle guy, bro.
actually, it's stupid, right? Buggy is called the Messiah, right? Or we all agree that's his nickname.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
Buggy
Genius
tribe is from God Valley? People like Red Nose lived in God Valley. Because think about it, there's a host thing. Like it would make sense that at least one of those kids who were there was saved, and it could be Buggy. Shanks coming from outside of God Valley, and him being from God Valley.
Well, the only thing that I can think of though is in the One Piece wiki and all the info that we give about Buggy, because I've done some research on him, on like where he was born. He was born on the Grand Line. That is Otis confirmed that. Now, I don't know. That I would love to see that though, like because just like we said, the whole deformities in his whole face, and even Cody said like Red Nose tribe, man, the red nose piece, it exists.
You
know
guys
what I
reading
mean? I'm on that
chat?
Well,
agenda.
you gotta think if Buggy's definitely going to be found at God Valley, which I think we're all on board with that. Yes, we all agree that Buggy is probably going to be found at God Valley.
Maybe
either his race is there to be hunted, or he is of the original race of God Valley. So I could definitely lend some credence to that. Q.
And also, guys, so it's factual, but Oda never just put in the story. The SBS 4 billion, when Shanks is found, the laugh among the Roger pirates, only one person has that laugh, Buggy. So when they were leaving God Valley, Buggy's laugh was on the ship. So we could say that he was close to God Valley because they were leaving God Valley when there was Buggy's laugh. So post God Valley, he was
why
with
would
them.
Why would Oda put that he's from the Grand Line? Then that's the biggest mystery.
Also, think about this, right? We all know that Nami
Well,
is going to connect to another island, but yet she's from the East Blue. You know what I mean? Like we have people. Frankie does not come from the East. Sanji does not come from the, but he grew up most of his life in the East Blue. It could also be something like that. He was born somewhere but brought somewhere else to live.
Right. Okay, I can see that
Buggy,
definitely.
with the New World, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the New World also considered part of the Grand Line? Because it's just the latter half of the Grand Line, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So
There's Paradise and then the New World.
So for him to say that Buggy was born in the Grand Line, if he was born on God Valley or even an island that we won't see that was before God Valley or something, then he's not lying. And you guys all know Oda's a cheeky little punk. Like he will tongue in cheek be like, yeah, he's born on the Grand Line.
super cheeky with it, for sure.
I still found it weird that Shanks was told to be one of the Blues. But
right.
Yeah.
Right.
He has lesser dragon blood.
So do you guys think that we're gonna see how Roger ended up with Shanks in this flashback? Because I think we will.
Yeah, we will.
I hope so.
And I'll go. So. Thank you, Lucas, because this could be the segue I wanted to bring in. I have this headcanon, and it's very weird. And I've said this. We've seen how the world government react to former celestial dragons, right? In Dressrosa.
Yes.
They do not give them the time of day. You need to blackmail them to give them the time of day. They don't respect you. You're worse than trash. You don't exist anymore. Yet, every time Shanks shows up, they say just because it's you. Sengoku does it as well. He's done something to them that is more him being Celestial Dragon. And the fact that they said that Garling King killed the native king. And this is the thing. I think the only way Roger can sell his arrest, because even Rayleigh said he was arrested, he surrendered, but he never also discredited the Marine saying that he captured him. I think Roger asked Shanks to snitch on him.
Ooh.
The actual traitor, I think he's the one traitor. Yeah, I think he's the one traitor that was asked to betray. And I think that's why Garp hates, think about it. Garp hates Shanks for some reason. Is it because he's celestial, or is it because maybe the one person from the other side that he respects was snitched by someone and you know about it? He's all about loyalty, Garp. That's something that would piss off Garp because he hates Shanks. He looked at him and we never seen him hate someone. The only time we seen that it was with Akainu when he had a weird reaction to seeing Shanks. So I really think that he's the one who snitched, but Roger asked him to. It would make sense.
Well, to be fair though, Garp could hate Shanks because of the way he influenced Luffy.
Luffy, right? That's what I was gonna say too. That could be a factor for sure. I could
And
see it all ways.
we definitely have confirmation that Shanks is the child of a celestial dragon with the saint moniker that is on Garland. He's Saint Fairlink Garland. Or he's a Gorosei that stepped down. Either way, we don't know about because that dude is powerful, and we don't see dragons that are physically fit and powerful like that. He's the only one. Kind of moist guard in the post time skip was kind of jacked a little bit. Definitely had a more defined chin.
It makes me think of I brought up before about, and it actually I have the best analogy: mermaid and fishman. I said, what if at birth you would know which one would be a celestial dragon, which one. When you're born, I think some of them are just physically gifted, like the flamingo, and what's his name, the flamingo and Shanks, and like the Gorosei in the Holy Night. They're born with a weaker body, hence why they need the astronaut suit. Like it would explain why some don't have it.
Like obviously, Don Quixote do Flamingo isn't, or the Don Quixote family isn't, but there's also the possibility that the Figurelands are a D-Clan tribe that purposely betrayed the D-Clan. Like it could be Figureland D Garling or Figureland D Shanks, and they purposely betrayed the D-Clan and just added the D to their last name because of that. Like there's so many more questions that I have now that were in God Valley that I just can't wait to see what Oda cooks up. Like it is insane. These past 2 chapters, one, we got the Saturn reveal, but now we're getting God Valley. God Valley has been the Kuma stuff alone, man. I would have been happy even just for the Buccaneers thing. Like I would have been happy, but then with the end of the chapter, like the Valley thing. All right, boys, I'm not gonna lie. I have to hop off here again. I'm sorry I could only jump in for like 30 minutes, but I love you all. Thank you to the chat. Yeah, I came in to cook. I got to cook, and I will talk to you guys later.
Lucas brought up a good point though, like just how we see people betray the world government. We definitely have to see both sides, right? We're definitely, I always thought we're definitely going to see somebody betray the D family. Just like there's double agents, you got Stussy, working for both sides. We're definitely going to see that on all facets, or maybe even like in these flashbacks. So that was a good one. That's a good one, Lucas. I agree. It might not have been the Figurelands, but it could be some other faction or clan that's betrayed the D, right? That's why they lost, for sure.
It's quite interesting because it kind of makes me think of, I still believe this is a reverie and it's like a groundhog cycle. Like basically every 50, 100 years, something restarts, and people are doing their adventures. Obviously, that's why it would explain why for 800 years, everything has stayed the same in terms of technology. You know what I mean? Like everything has been so advanced before, but that would explain it why basically. And I'm wondering if the one thing that they needed to change is having a Fingerland being on the Joy Boy side. Like where baby Shanks saving Luffy is the domino that would divert everything.
Yikes. Like he threw off everything. That is crazy. That is crazy. I could see that happening for sure. Like, it wasn't supposed to happen like that, but then he did. That's wild. That's probably why the devil fruit was calling to Luffy, like, has a will of its own. It was all supposed to happen. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's dope. What do you think, Josh? Is Josh still in the chat?
Yeah.
What do you think, brother?
About what?
About how, like, the whole Shanks thing, and do you think, well, first off, do you think, like, there's going to be, like, a certain faction that betrayed the D clan?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my head canon. I believe the D clan and the Celestial Dragons were one group, and they separated into 2 tribes. But yeah. So listen, I think we did a great stream. I think I'm just going to, if anyone has an ending thoughts, want to add on the discussion.
No, man, that's good. We did cook. We cooked, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one more
Well-
question to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys one thing. When do you guys think the ancient robot is going to appear in the next few chapters? And what do you think is going to happen with it?
I mean, I think Kuma is gonna appear first and then the giant robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
we
think
will.
Kuma will
I thi-
react to hearing Luffy's heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh man. You think it's gonna like awaken something in him or something?
Well,
What-
remember his dad was enchanting the do 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 dot do 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 do
Right,
dot,
right,
like
right.
the heartbeat
The
chant.
drum.
So maybe Kuma would be all like, "Oh my God, it's Nika! Whoa!"
Wait, no. Wait. What if you know he said he made sure to remove his memories, right? But what if there's a protocol when he's an egghead that he would just connect back to his memories, but the code is the drums of
The
liberation.
Nika beat. Oh my
Yeah.
Lanta cube.
Yeah. The
Like a
Iron
like
Giant
a
activated. Yeah. Could be the same
like
thing.
a what
Could
is
be
it
the same
called?
thing.
Like a bypass or whatever, like a backgate bypass, whatever. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's wild, yo. But what's gonna happen when he does? Like he's just gonna like go back to his consciousness, or like what do you guys
Yeah.
think is gonna happen once he hears that?
We haven't seen Kuma ever since we was introduced to flashback. What if the first we will see him just smiling, and you see that Kuma has returned? You know what I mean? His personality. Because I believe
Oh.
ever since we were introduced to Kuma, he's been already altered. So his personality was already gone, most of it. Because he was cold every time we saw him. No smiles.
Yeah.
Yet we've been seeing a lot of flashbacks now with Kuma always smiling.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. Are you smiling? That was wild. That blew my mind seeing him smile like that.
Yeah. Type of smile that would make Cody cry.
Oh, I'm always crying.
Yeah, I was about to say he's always crying. He's a joyful guy, man.
Yeah, dog. These blue talkies be kicking my booty.
Nah, never.
So yeah, so listen, first of all, I want to appreciate for a reminder for everyone in the chat, on Saturday we have a stream with Hime. So regular time, 1 p.m. EST. It's going to be fire. So hop in for this, and I want to appreciate to all of our guests who are here to talk, and I'll let all you leave your plugins. So starting with Cody.
Hey guys, I'm SSJ Cody at SSJ Cody on Twitch and TikTok. We're on the road to 1K on TikTok. It's going really good. We play One Piece D&D on Thursdays. We might play tonight. It's still up in the air. It's in the messages, so we're figuring it out. But yeah, I'm just SSJ Cody, and shout out to the last arc. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for letting me spit One Piece. I love coming on here and talking.
You're the
And yeah,
greatest.
thank you so much.
And so likewise. So yeah, well, Smokey,
Passing off
you know,
next.
you know the deal.
I'm Smokey, man. Nobody special. Just a kid that's Grand Line bound. Recently, the newest member of TLA, baby. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I love you guys. Cube, you're the best, man. This is a dub for us. Cube is a dub for TLA. Big dub for you for this whole God Valley stuff, man. You've just been cooking for the last couple months. So yeah, this is great. I love these chill streams. This is always the funnest. I love being on these chill streams. They're like the best. Like this is where like the best theories come together, right? As on these chill streams. So yeah, man, it's been fun. Catch me on TikTok. Catch me on my own YouTube, Grand Line Bound. Catch me cooking some stuff up for TLA. Might knock 'em up, baby. Yeah, man. Love you guys. Let's get it.
Yeah, and well, Joshua. Then I'll go with Fritz afterwards.
Yeah, you know the deal. If you want to talk any other anime except One Piece, so you can join my server. Also, yeah,
His Jujutsu Kaisen takes are so hot. I just get in there and help me defend it. Like, oh my goodness.
I don't even watch Jujutsu Kaisen, but I definitely. You guys make me want to watch it, man. You guys make me want to watch it. For sure.
Do it.
Do it.
Also read
It's an
Record of
emotional
Ragnarok.
roller coaster. Yeah, and Record of Ragnarok. His takes in there are wild.
Oh my god! So he's just a wild guy all around, huh?
Yeah,
I love his theories. Josh is the best. The
yeah,
GOAT.
you will never find someone in the record of Ragnarok community that will completely agree with you.
It's One Piece almost, man. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope, man.
Also, soon enough, I'm gonna have to post that chapter theory about the races of One Piece. I have to update now the script to add Buccaneers.
Yes.
So yeah, and well, yeah, Fritz did it. You know what to do.
Hey, how we doing? It's glad to have you guys on here. W's all around. And make a long story short, we love you guys. This is a good time chilling.
Yeah.
Great stuff cooking.
Yeah. Well, and as for me, Cuba the Red Sea, as you know, I usually do a plug-in, the last arc as usual, but this time I'm just gonna say Garpus rocks.
The Parallel King. That's what you should plug yourself as. The Parallel King.
But yeah, anyways, I appreciate everyone for being there in the chat. You guys, honestly, you're goats, always to be there. We appreciate you all. Really.
W Vexus, W3 Day, W Lucas, W Joe,
Yeah.
W all of you in the chat, W
All of you.
chat. Y'all are the best.
JJ, all you guys, man. OPU, all you guys are dope with it. Sick with it.
Yeah. That's what we do this. So yeah,
Hugs.
appreciate everyone.
Let's get it, guys. It's been dope with it.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna stay on after we get off air?
I'm gonna say a bit if you want to talk.
Yeah, let's get it.
I'm scared.
So yeah, Fritz, I think